starts.
I will try to be good. You really try.
All right. So give it a minute to make sure.
To be fair, you know,
it's connecting.
I've been doing it so my stream's fairly PG.
Excellent.
People will be going nuts for that bot Ross troll.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. All right, so that is going. All right, good evening, guys. DeathClock Dave here, and welcome to another Wednesday night live stream battle report. Before we jump in, I just want to talk a little bit about Draco's Dragoon Studios, one of our locals. You may even see him on stream today, who does some pretty amazing painting and converting. So he does some streams, so you can check him out on Twitch. So it's Draco's Dragoon. You can check him out. Pat, how many times do you stream a week? Or what's your normal schedule?
My normal schedule is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, starting at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Yep. Perfect. Nice. So check that out, guys. Pat does some really cool kit bashing stuff, some really cool sculpting work. He's done some really neat Monpok models and conversions for me, and the painting in the comic book style. So lots of neat stuff there. So check him out. You can learn something from the channel. You can also see pictures of the stuff that he's done on Facebook and on Instagram. And he also does commissions. So hit him up if there's something cool that you have an idea that you want done, or if you have a model that you want to look cooler. Pat's really good at also coming up with some extra ideas. So check him out there. And we will jump over to our intro. So we are doing something. There we go. Okay, good evening, guys. DeathClock Dave here, and welcome to another Wednesday night live stream battle report. Apologies, I was just talking to myself because the audio was not functioning. So thank you for catching that. So I apologize for the dead space. We'll have to cut that out later. But we're doing something a little different this evening. We're starting with a new campaign that Private Press has put out called the Oblivion campaign. So it's a really neat narrative story that goes through the story of the Infernals coming to call 2/3 of the souls of Imran. So you're either playing as the good guys, which are the Guardians, or the bad guys, who are the Corruptors, working with the Infernals. You don't necessarily have to play Infernals. It may just mean that you are either, perhaps your leaders were manipulated by the Infernals or something and don't even know that you're working for the bad guys. So there are a whole bunch of really cool scenarios that you work through, and the outcome is different based on whether you win or lose and based on which side you're playing for. So if you win or lose, you move to different scenarios. They're custom scenarios that we'll be playing through. And we're running this as kind of a journeyman league put together with a.
What we're doing is it's a slow grow league.
Yeah, slow grow with the campaigns.
Yeah, I've been modifying the Oblivion campaign to fit a slow grow, so
yeah.
we get everyone in.
Yeah, so that makes sense. That opens it up a bit more for our locals here, and we'll also be playing at least the smaller points one. We're going to be playing from the perspective of beginners in such a way that we're explaining what we're doing. So if there is anybody who's new who's watching, you guys can kind of catch how things work and what we're doing, and you're not left guessing as to what's happening. So let us know if you guys have any questions as we go along, and we will jump in. So the first scenario that we are playing this evening is called Doomed Patrol. So this is a small, we're just using right out of the battle box. So I'm playing Convergence with Forge Master Syntherian, and Pat is playing Signar with Major Beth Maddox. Sure, yeah. And Pat's just going to read the fluff behind Doom Patrol. Gives you an idea of what's happening in the story behind the scenario.
On a moonless night, two formidable forces encounter one another during routine patrols. Is it fate that brings them together, or the manipulations of dark powers? Without parley or negotiation between the two parties, a bloody skirmish quickly breaks out. Only the survivors. Reports of the incidents will be recorded in the annals of history.
Nice. So the special rules for this scenario are Moonless Night. A lot of them have this rule. So line of sight is reduced to 12 inches. So it's a dark night, so you can't see very far. So that will potentially restrict some of the ranged options that we have. And also one of the terrain pieces that's standard throughout the entire campaign is called Creeping Madness. So this is dense fog terrain, which we have one on the board right now. So Creeping Madness, do you want to read, Pat, in your fancy voice?
Sure. There's something in the air, something intangible that is driving people mad. It lurks in the shadows, just beyond the veil of reality, whispering horror and despair to those unfortunate enough to listen.
All right, so a model beginning their activation in dense fog terrain must use its normal movement to run. So we're going to say that affects living models and also kind of causes haywire with cortexes, so it would also affect warjacks and that sort of thing.
They straight up Scooby-Doo it.
So we'll switch over to our view here. So the overlay will look a little bit different, guys, because we obviously don't have control points in this one. So there's no, the scenario in this one is basically last man standing, warcaster kill. And then as we go, there'll be different scenario objectives through the other scenarios.
It's actually not warcaster kill. Victory conditions. A player immediately wins if they control the only models in play.
Yes.
At the end of the 7th game round, a player with the most models in play wins. In the case of a tie, players play another game round and check victory conditions again.
Do you want to play it that way? Those rules are made assuming you've got 20 points of dudes running around the board, so it's however you want to play it. We can do caster kill.
No, we'll do caster kill.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Just want to make sure the people at home know exactly.
Yes, there are modified.
We are doing modified rules, so I want them to know,
for sure.
Yes and no.
So the campaign originally calls for the first 3 scenarios. You're actually not using any warcasters, warlocks, or warjacks or warbeasts. You're using warrior models and solo. So it's kind of, I believe the idea is that it's going to teach you the basics of movement and that sort of thing. We've tweaked it around because most of our starting players are going to have battle boxes rather than groups of dudes. So it's a little more intuitive for those who are starting brand new. So.
Yeah, especially since a number of them won't even have proper battle boxes because we're doing battle boxes or alternative battle boxes as I'm saying it's okay.
I brought three prime axioms in my battle group. Pat approved it. So.
Yeah, I approved it after a very hefty donation to through my PayPal.
There we go. So go ahead and we'll roll to see who's going first. We use standard deployment zones for this scenario. Wow, can you guys see that? Double ones. Nice. Okay. And there's no themes also for, so I won the roll, so I will opt to go first. So with these starting scenarios, it'll say a particular table layout. So the idea is that you're not supposed to have one table layout in these first few that is more beneficial to one side or the other. Later on, there will be specific layouts based on the terrain and the narrative. So we'll go ahead and do our standard. So in a normal game of Warmachine Hordes, which is what we're playing with the deployment zones right now, the first player has a 7-inch deployment zone, so that's your side of the table where you'll be deploying your models. And the second player has a 10-inch deployment zone, and you would also typically, as the second player, you would be choosing your table edge as well. So based on how the terrain is set up, there's typically, in a regular like steamroller scenario, there's going to be one side of the table that is more beneficial than the others. So there may be more defensive terrain or stuff that you prefer, so it will give you some incentive to pick one side of the table. But for some of these scenarios, the table setup is more set. And let me know, guys, if you can hear me okay. I know we had a bit of an audio issue earlier on. Looks like everything's moving now. Just want to make sure.
Someone forgot to hit the button.
Yes, buttons are hard. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll start deploying. So I won the first turn, so we're not playing with a clock because this is just a beginner game. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about the battle group that I have. So I have Forge Master Syntherian. So he's the battle box caster. He likes warjacks, or in Convergence side, they're called vectors. I have a Cypher heavy warjack. I have a Mitigator light warjack. He's got a bit of a gun on him. Then I have a Galvanizer light warjack that has a buzzsaw on the end of his arm, which is pretty sweet. So I'll go ahead and I will do my deployment. So again, I'm deploying within my 7-inch deployment zone. And then we'll talk a little bit about the terrain and how that works once we get set up here as well. So I'm going to deploy Syntherian central so that he can be in the middle of all of his dudes. I'm going to put my Cypher on this side of him, Galvanizer on this side, and Mitigator on this side. All right, and that is my deployment. So Pat, you can go ahead and do your deployment.
First off, I have Major Beth Maddox. She is the Signar Battle Box Warcaster. Then I have a nice big fat Ironclad here, who is the Signar Heavy. And this one is, okay, that's the Firefly.
Yep.
He's got one of the ranged weapons. And I'm learning these two folks, so I'm throwing myself in the deep end with everyone else. And this here is a Lancer, which is a Signar light warjack with a art node.
Yeah, so an art node allows you to channel spells, so it kind of reaches out and touches people farther than from just your caster. So we'll go over that as it becomes relevant as well. So, all right. Pat's going to the far corner. There's also, for those of you familiar with it, there's no kill box in these scenarios. Kill box normally in a steamroller scenario would have a certain area where you want to have your warcaster out of by a certain time, otherwise you start losing control points.
There we go. I'm setting up way over here. What? It's just two random patrols. We don't know where each other are, so why would we square off perfectly?
Very true. All right, so Pat's got his deployment done. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the terrain that we have on the table. So first of all, we have, this is a hill template, but we're actually going to be using this as a dense fog. So this is the Creeping Madness. So if you begin your activation in the dense fog template, then you have to use your normal movement to run.
Also what they call the smell from the bathroom after chilly night.
Yes, that'll also do it. I definitely want to run from that situation. So we've got a wall, which is a linear obstacle. And provides cover, so against ranged and magic attacks, it's +4 defense if your base is obstructed from your attacker, and it is a +2 defense if, from melee attacks. So if a guy's swinging at you over the wall, you'll get a +2 defense bonus. So we have 3 forests here in the middle to kind of signify that we're out in the forest on patrol. So forests are rough terrain, which means you move at half speed when you're moving through the terrain, and also provide concealment if you are fully within the terrain. So if your base is fully sitting in here, you'll get concealment, which is +2 defense against ranged magic attacks. Many of these terrain pieces will also block line of sight, which means you can't see guys if you are hiding on the other side. We have a rubble template, which is rough terrain and also provides cover if you're fully within. So that's the defense against ranged and magic attacks. We have a water template, which is rough terrain. There's no defensive bonus there. It's just rough terrain, so it slows you down when you're going through. And then finally, we have a house template. So we're going to use the entire template as the house. So a house is an abstraction. Sorry?
Or cabin.
Yes.
Yeah, we found a cabin in the woods.
There you go. Cabin in the woods. It's a broken down old shack that somebody left behind. So the entire base is going to be the template. So it's an obstruction, which means you cannot move through it. It blocks line of sight. Also, if you are obscured by the like the corner of the house, for example, you would get cover. Again, that's +4 against ranged and magic attacks. If you're swinging kind of across the corner of the house, that would be +2 defense in melee. So we'll go ahead and get started. So first we have the maintenance phase. So typically on the first turn you don't have anything that needs to be done in the maintenance phase, so we'll skip that and come back to that later. There are a few steps that you would normally perform if you have various game effects happening on the table. So I'm going to go ahead and so Convergence are a bit of an oddball. They don't play like the other factions, so I'm playing this one because it's a little bit more advanced to start with. I have a buddy who's probably going to be using some of my other models, so I just wanted to start with this. I didn't want to throw a beginner into Convergence just because the rules are different. Normally with Warjacks, you would power up during your control phase, which means your Warjacks would get free focus to start with. That is not the case with Convergence because they have another rule called Induction. They don't have the power up rule. So my Warcaster will start with all of the focus that you would normally get. So he is a focus 6 Warcaster, so that represents kind of his magical power that he has. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by activating Forgemaster Syntherian. So when you activate a model, you do its entire activation. So you'll take and in the control phase, we'll do that first. So in the control phase is when you would allocate focus. So there's a couple of things that typically happen in the control phase, the main thing being allocating focus. As a Convergence player, on the first turn, it's important that I allocate out focus because I don't power up, which means my Warjacks can't run. So in order for a Warjack to run, which means they're getting further up the board, they have to spend focus. So I'm going to allocate 1 focus to my Galvanizer before I jump into the activation phase. Then I'm going to go ahead and activate Forgemaster Syntherian. So Forgemaster Syntherian has a few different spells. I want to get a couple of those out right now, so I have 5 focus left. So first of all, I'm going to cast Reconstruct on my Galvanizer. So I'm going to cast that for 3 before I move. And I'm going to put a Reconstruct token on the Galvanizer. So the range for that spell, most buffs are 6-inch range, so I'm checking and I'm easily within 6 inches there. And then I'm going to cast, for 2, I'm going to cast Synergy on myself. So that's a self-control spell, or a spell with a target of self, so it always goes on the Warcaster. Then I'm going to go ahead and move. So you can cast spells before you move or after you move. You just cannot interrupt your movement to cast spells. So Syntherian is a speed of 5, so I'm going to move him up 5 inches. And that's going to be the end of his activation. Now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to run my Galvanizer. So I'm going to spend one focus to run. So each model has a base speed. So the Galvanizer in this example is speed 5. And when you run, you will move up to double your speed. So he can run up to 10 inches. So he's going to go ahead and run. And this is where one of the special rules for Convergence comes in. It's called Induction. So when a Warjack spends a focus to do something, that focus can bounce to another Warjack within 6 inches. So he's clearly within 6 inches of the mitigator. So I'm going to move that over to him. And my Galvanizer is going to run. So he's going to run 6 inches and 10 inches. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and run my mitigator. My mitigator is the same speed. It's kind of the same chassis as my Galvanizer. So he's going to run. He's going to invent that focus over to my Cypher. And he is also going to run 10 inches, getting up there a bit. Finally, I'm going to run my Cypher. So my Cypher is my big heavy Warjack. He's got 4 legs. He's stomping around. He is slower than the other guys. So there's nobody else for this focus to induct back to. So that will just go back over here to my other pile. And he has a speed of 4. So he can run up to 8 inches. So he is going to run this way. So here's 6 and 7, 8. All right. So I've activated all of my models. There's nothing else that I have to do other than moving my my tokens along here so that they are still in play. So there's nothing else I can do. So then play moves over to Pat's turn. So, all right, Pat,
to do stuff.
nothing to do in your maintenance phase, so go ahead and do your control phase.
Okay, now control phase is where I allocate, or is where I do
Power up,
right? Okay, now see, I'm coming from trolls, so I'm doing a whole system relearn because I'm used to Fury.
Yes, so if you're not familiar with Warmachine Hordes, they're technically two different game systems, but they work together. So
they're two sides of a similar coin. With Hordes, it's more risk management.
Mm-hmm.
With Warmachine, it's more resource management.
Yeah. So it's your resources work differently in the two systems. So we'll go over that later as well.
So since I actually do get the power up, first each of my jacks gets a power up token.
Now your jacks do have to be within control to power up, but they're obviously
I think they are.
So control is so you take your focus stat, which Beth I think is a 6.
Yep, she has a 6.
And to check if something is in your control range, you double your focus stat. So in this example, both Syntherian and Beth Maddox are going to have a control range of 12 inches.
Congrats. She does.
There you go. So in order for your battle group, which is your group of either Warjacks or Warbeasts, to be most effective, you need to keep them in your control range.
Yes. So I'm actually going to activate Maddox first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pay 2 points of focus to put up a sail. Target friendly faction Warjack can charge or make slam or trample power attacks without spending focus. The Warjack gains +2 movement when it charges or makes a slam or trample power attack. Models slammed by the Warjack are moved additional 2 inches.
Nice.
And I'm putting that on my Ironclad.
Okay.
Because he has no ranged weapons, so he's the big bruiser of the group.
He wants to get in there fast.
Exactly. And I'm going to pay 2 more to put, where is it? I'm putting Onslaught. Now this one is a ranged self. Spellcaster and friendly faction models beginning their activation in its control range gain Relentless Charge for 1 turn. What that does is while advancing as part of a charge, a model with Relentless Charge gains Pathfinder. So I'm thinking story-wise, this makes sense that she wants her Jacks to be able to move through the forest as quickly as possible.
So Pathfinder allows you to ignore the difficult terrain penalty. So normally you'd be paying double your movement to move through difficult terrain. When they charge now, they can move through that water or those forests, for example, without getting slowed down, which is a very powerful ability.
And since this spell's range is self, I put it on Maddox, and it affects the models that are within her control, which is that 12 inches we measured out. So I have that, and the nice thing is I don't have to worry about leaving points on her.
Yes, there's no transfer. There is the power field, so you can shrug damage, but you don't have to worry about your beasts frenzying later on.
That's going to be weird. It's like, no, I don't want to. I already know about Pathfinder. Shut up. Okay, so she is a speed 6. So because I've done my magic, I can't run.
Correct.
But I could charge.
So if you run, which is moving the double speed, which is what I did with my Warjacks, you can't do anything else typically unless there's a special rule that says otherwise. So if you're running, that's typically all you're going to do. So you often won't see people running with their Warcasters or Warlocks because that means they're not casting their spells, they're not using feats, and doing all that kind of fun stuff. I'm just going to tweak the camera up a little bit since Pat's so hard to the flank, so just make sure that's...
So that's also why a common thing that you'll see people do, and is very good, especially for new players to keep in mind, is it's good to cast your spells, and then if you can see your opponent, even if they're across the table, and they wouldn't be in your line, and they wouldn't be in your normal sight range, you can still charge, because that will give you the additional 3 inches of movement for the charge.
Extra movement is good.
Exactly. So, now that we've done her, I have to remember to move up her tokens with her. Now these tokens are from the Signar token set, and these are the ones that note that these are continuous effect spells. So I can pay I can pay to upkeep them.
Yep. The token sets that come with the factions are pretty neat there. typically colored to match that faction or what the standard colors for that faction would be, and then you can just write on them with like a dry erase pen or like a chalk pen.
Yep, and they are even quite nicely themed, even with the runes and stuff.
Yeah.
They're quite beautiful.
Yeah, they'll say either spell effect or they'll say upkeep spell, which allows you to better keep track of what's going on.
So I'm going to use my power-up focus to run my Lancer. He's going to run. He can get up to the middle of the building, but since it's a solid object, I will stop at the edge of the building there.
Makes sense.
And I'm honestly just going to do the same with everybody. I'm going to spend my focus.
So first turns are usually full of running, guys. So you get your initial spells out there, and then everybody's running because you want to get into the action. So.
Now I can't run through Maddox, so I am doing a little bit of an angle, which is why he stops just a little bit shorter.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the big guy here, just going to go trumping along. Thump, 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 thump. So in case you're wondering, he's what goes bump in the night.
So he has speed of 5, but he's got a sail on him, which gives him +2 movement, right?
Exactly.
Is it movement or speed?
Movement. It is. Let me double check. Come on. Let's see. He has a sail. Let's see. Yeah, it gains +2 movement, but that's when it charges. So
okay,
I've actually got him too far up.
Okay, gotcha. So it's only when he charges. Okay.
Yes, so he's back 2 inches there.
Fair enough.
So, and that's why we learn. We learn together.
Learning is good.
Knowledge is power. It's half the battle I hear. Red and blue lasers are something like the other 90% of it. Oh, wait, is that bad math? Okay. Yeah, I'm done.
All right, sounds good. So we'll switch over to my turn. So this is that was the bottom of turn 1. So we now go into round 2. So each round has a 1 turn for each player. So a full round consists of 1 turn for each player. All right, so I'll just do a quick explanation of the spells that I have on the board as well, because I forgot to do that. So I have Synergy on the board. Synergy is a very powerful one for melee armies. So while in the spellcaster's control range, models in this model's battle group gain a cumulative bonus on melee attack and melee damage rolls for each other model in the battle group that hit an enemy model with a melee attack this turn while in the spellcaster's control range. The cumulative bonus cannot exceed +3. So basically what that means is each time one of my dudes hits somebody with melee attack, my other dudes get a bonus to hit and to damage. So it's really good for starting with your little guys, getting them to do some attack, and then it'll kind of fuel up your big guy, getting potentially a +3 to hit and damage, or your Warcaster to get in there and do maximum damage. The other one is Reconstruct, so I have that on the Galvanizer right now. So when target large base or smaller warjack in the spellcaster's battle group is disabled by an enemy attack at any time except while it's advancing, place it anywhere completely within 3 inches of its current location, remove 1 damage point from each system, then Reconstruct expires. So it's kind of a respawn. So if he happens to kill my Galvanizer, I get to move him 3 inches and then heal some of his damage up so that he's still fully functional. So
in other words, I should kill your Galvanizer last.
There you go. There you go. So we'll go ahead and we're going to be starting with the maintenance phase. So maintenance phase is normally where you would. There's a few different things. If you had any continuous effects, like if you were burning or anything like that, you would resolve those effects. Also, if there was, what else was there? If there's things like vengeance or special abilities that would maybe proc during that period.
But we don't want to overload new players.
That's right. So
I would just say this is the phase where things would happen if they were continuous.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
they're running out at this time, so we'll continue on.
Yep, so I have to upkeep my spells. So if I have 2 spells that are upkeep, so normally what I would have to do as a regular Warcaster or Warlock, I would have to pay 1 focus from my stack of 6. So at the beginning of the maintenance phase and control phase, you will replenish the focus that you had up to your max. I would have to spend 1 focus point to keep each of these spells up. But Syntherian has a special ability called Resourceful, which means that he can upkeep spells on his battle group for free, so I don't have to do that normal step. So I will go ahead and move to my my allocation. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 focus on my Cipher, and I'm going to leave the rest on the Syntherian. And I'm going to go ahead and start with Syntherian. So he is going to cast for 2. He's going to cast Hotshot on my Cipher, so that costs 2. So Hotshot, I get automatically boosted damage rolls on my first ranged attack. So it's not great in this army composition because I don't have a lot for big guns, and with the spells that I have, it's not ideal. But it'll give him potentially a little bit extra damage, especially if I happen to get close to Maddox. So then he's going to move up. So he has a speed of 5. He's going to move up and just kind of nestle in behind these trees here to try and be safe. So synergy goes with him, as does his remain focus. Now I'm going to go ahead and move up my Cipher. So I'm going to move. So you, how far do you move on your Ironclad when you charge? So you have 5, 8. You're normally 9, right?
Yes.
Because it's got a reach of 1. So you would. So when you're charging, you take your base speed, which in this case is 5. You add 3 for the charge, so that's always going to be the flat number, so you always add 3. No
6, 7, 8, and then he's got a 1-inch range on his hammer, so that puts it to 9.
Yep.
But because of the sail, he can also go an additional 2 inches for that charge,
Okay.
so he goes
you
up
can
to
reach
11.
a max of 11, and you have no other ways to speed him up. So
especially since, thanks to our Moonless Night rule,
yes,
line of sight is a maximum of 12 inches.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. War Machine is a big game of keeping your models out of other guys' threat ranges, so try not to get beat down before you get the chance to beat on the other guy. So I'm just measuring here to see what 11 inches looks like from the Ironclad. So I'm going to go ahead and
Yeah, you don't see it very often, right, Dave?
Yes. No, 11 inches is a little.
That's one extra 1 too many.
Move my Cipher. Then I am going to
Well, he normally orders the 6-inch subs.
go ahead and I am going to buy a couple of shots. So I'm going to first of all shoot at the.
Can you see me?
Oh yeah, I can't even see you. That's right, because we have the
12 inches.
12 inches. Yep, you're good. So I don't have anything to shoot at. So all right, so he's good there.
He is looking around in the dark and he can't see the big hulking machines with their smokes and fire.
He's going to spend that one just to run. So he's going to run to there. This will bounce to here. All right. So that stays on him. Good point about the line of sight. So the galvanizer is going to run. So he is going to bounce this one over to here. He's going to face this way, so he knows where the battle's happening. And he's going to run this way. So we're going to go 5 inches to here. I'm not going to click the forest. And he's going to wander up this way like such. So we're outside of 11 inches there.
Alright. I'll put my finger on the model so you can actually touch the base, because
There you go.
you're not touching the base.
No, I'm way far anyway,
Okay.
so I'm just checking.
Just
All right.
trying to be helpful.
I appreciate it. You're so helpful. And then I'm going to run my mitigator. This goes to nowhere, and he is going to run. He's going to run this way. So we're going to go 4, and 5, 6, and he's just going to go. You know what? Let's go there. Because you have a speed of 6 on this guy?
Yep. I know, that feels weird. I'm used to trolls. I mean, almost all of our beasts, light and heavy, are speed 5.
Alright, so that's on him, it's on him, and that is the end of my turn. So I've activated all of my models. That's over to Pat.
Yay. So, okay, Maddox regains all of her focus. And I start off with the power-up ones first, before I pay for upkeeps, correct?
Sorry?
I do power-up before I pay for
Power,
upkeeps.
let's just see. Maintenance phase is, I believe you pay for upkeeps first. We're probably getting the timing of this wrong. But
Yeah, I forgot my rule book,
I will
so.
double check.
Wait, upkeeps first.
Typically all of this stuff happens right away anyway, so oftentimes.
But we do want to make sure, since we're trying to teach everyone at home as well,
Yes.
we want to get these right.
So maintenance phase happens first. So you remove all the focus points from your warjacks and warcasters in excess of what they had. Check for the expiration of continuous effects. Resolve all other effects. So that's done. Then during the control phase, is when your power up, everything else.
Okay, so in that case, I get the focus back on Maddox, and then because I have 2 continuous effects in
Two
play,
upkeeps,
2 upkeeps, I will pay the 2 to keep them up.
Yep. Power up.
And yes, now I power up 2 and 3. Okay, and now is when I do Maddox gives them their focus.
Yep, it's all in the control phase.
Okay.
So, guys, war decks can have a maximum of 3 focus on them unless there's some special rule that overrides that. So typically you'll be powering up for typically you'll be powering up for 1, and then you'll be allocating up to 2 more, depending on what you want your war deck to accomplish. So you have to figure out, is my war deck in range to be able to charge something so that he can actually do any damage, or is he just going to be running in position and so forth. So
I'm going to give my Firefly 1 extra 1.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep 3 on Maddox.
Sure.
Okay. So let's see if these jacks are half decent compared to trolls. So I'm going to start off with the lovely Lancer. And now, can a model run and be used as an archetype? Excellent. Because it's not an ability, so
that's
therefore...
correct. It's a passive relay. So as long as it's in the control range, that's all. And not engaged. That's the other caveat.
Yep. So I'm going to pay the 1 that I got from the power up.
Yep.
And this little guy's going to run.
Okay.
Because he ran so far away.
He runs.
Cannot get away.
Where's he going?
So I actually brought some of these.
Proxy bases, yeah.
These are proxy bases are always good. You can use whatever you want. Any spare bases you have. It kind of helps you plan out things.
So allows you to measure where you're going, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So going up to here, that uses up 3 inches.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bryce. Death Check can go up to multiple because I think he gets soul, he converts souls or something like that. And there's a few other models in the game that have abilities that allow them to go over the 3 cap.
Okay. And then I can get up to here, going from this front edge to the front edge.
Because your speed's 6, right?
Yes, speed is 6.
Yep.
So that uses 3 and then 9 to get there.
Perfect.
So he runs
to
there.
Okay.
And I realize I don't have the actual front arcs marked.
That's
normally you'd have the arcs.
Front arcs, which is where the guy is facing, typically go by the shoulders, where the shoulders are pointing, unless you actually have it marked. So. Yep.
So I'm keeping him in my front arc. So yay!
There you go. So an arc node allows so normally a spell, particularly offensive spells, will have a range. Typically it's something like 8 or 10. And normally, well, that's usually buff spells, but the longer range ones usually have to be, so you have to be measuring from the base of your Warcaster, which means you're having to get your Warcaster or Warlock really close to the things that you want to cast spells at, which typically means you're going to be within retaliation range in the next turn. So an arc node or a channeler allows you to draw line of sight from and do your measuring from the arc node. So the Lancer that has run up now effectively boosts Pat's range by quite a lot because he can be at the far reaches of his control range and then still cast the spells.
Exactly, which is exactly why I put him there.
Yep, arc nodes are very potent.
Yeah, and I don't get to use them very often as a
player. There aren't as many in Hordes. There's like more unit or models that have like special solos and special abilities and so on.
Pools have 1.
We have 1, but we have to pay 4.
Yeah.
We have to pay the upkeep and everything.
Yeah.
We have to do quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it even hurts the old man. So Maddox moves up to here, and I'm going to pay 3, and I am using. Come on. I'm going to use Electrical Blast.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yep, it is a range 8, so I can reach up to 8 inches from my arc node.
Okay.
Which is actually your caster.
Yep, that's good.
And I was honestly not. I was just doing that to show people. I wasn't expecting it to actually be that close.
Fair enough.
So the
You know, I think what I'll actually do is I'm actually going to art node this little bot here.
Okay, sounds good.
So we're gonna electrocute
You can
him.
zap him. All right.
Yep. Electrical blast causes electrical damage. Warjacks damaged by electrical blast suffer disruption.
Ooh, bad for me.
Yes.
So disruption, guys, means that I cannot allocate focus to that warjack if it happens. So it's oftentimes abilities will have critical disruption, which means you have to roll doubles when you do your roll. But this one, I think it just said if you damage, right? I think
I believe it did say that, and
which is a lot less.
Warjacks damaged by electrical blast.
Sounds good. So
now I do a magical attack roll. Now, because Maddox's focus is 6. I use that as her magical attack stat.
And all of the rolls in Warmachine Hordes are based on 2d6.
Yes.
So you start with 2d6, yeah.
So,
Plus your stat, your relative stat.
Yep, plus the 6. What is your defense?
So my defense is, so it's 12. I do have circular vision, which means even if you're in my back arc, I still am defense 12. So Pat is looking for a 12 on 2d6 plus his focus stat. If he had additional focus to spend, he could also spend a focus to do what's called a boost, which is adding another d6, so a max of 1 extra d6. So he'd be rolling 3d6 trying to hit my 12s.
Exactly.
All right, go ahead and try to hit.
So as it is, I need to roll a 6 or greater
That's right.
in order to hit your Tinker Toy.
All right, so you have hit me. So I am zapped with your electricity. So I am an armor of 16. So Pat, what is the power and strength of your I guess the power of your spell?
The power is 13.
13. Okay.
And now, because you are a jack, I'm adding a white dice, which will tell us where on your damage grid it will actually strike. So that means which components are actually being damaged.
That's right.
By this attack.
All right. So same kind of thing. Pat's going to be rolling 2d6. So he takes his power, which is 13. He's going to roll that, add his dice, and then compare that to my armor of 16. Or another way that we might say it is that the roll is going to be dice off 3, which means he subtracts 3 from whatever he rolls, and that's the damage that I suffer. Boom.
So that's the roll. This is the location, so it's going to be location 4. And because it is off 3, and one of our dice rolled 3, we're going to just straight up remove that.
Yep, so we're doing
4 points to the 3.
To the 3. So I'll just hold this there so you guys can see this. This is War Room. This is what most of us use. If you had a card, you would have a similar damage grid like this. So you can see he's damaged my hull, and down in here in the damage grid, you've got different letters, and that signifies various systems. So he's damaged my hull, which is nothing is out on me, luckily, but because his spell causes disruption.
You have a disruption token?
I have a disruption token.
I just quickly made one, but if you have one, that's even
So
better.
I am now disrupted, which means I cannot allocate focus to that warjack, which severely hampers his effectiveness on my turn. So that was a good move from Pat. So
yeah, he straight up got Johnny 5s, but he's not alive. He's sitting there going twitchy.
He's been zapped. He's been zapped.
Yay!
All right.
We electrocuted something.
Yes, electricity hurts.
I hear. Actually, I know from experience. That was not fun. Okay.
What else are you doing, Pat? That's the end of what you're doing with Maddox.
Yep.
All right.
So now I'm going to activate Monsieur Firefly.
Okay.
So he is also a speed 6. So I'm going to measure out 3 inches to there. And then I have another 3 inches to go, which will get me to here.
All right.
Now you don't need these to play. We're just doing this to help, illustrate.
It helps with the measurements. Yeah.
It does, and it also helps to show how measurements can change when you're going around corners and stuff. So this guy goes right to here. Remove those. Now he's got 2 focus on him. And guess what? He's going to fire his Storm Blaster at your little Tinker Toy.
Uh-oh. More electricity coming. Okay.
Yes. See, batteries included,
Yes, yes. So Signar is very, very much about electricity. They're considered kind of technologically advanced, and a guy named Nemo, who's kind of an older science guy, has created lots of really cool lightning weapons and that sort of thing. So you'll see that theme that runs through.
Oh yeah, a great way to think of Signar is think of if Nikola Tesla and King Arthur had a nice head-on collision.
Yeah, exactly.
That is, I think, the best way to describe them.
It's hard to see, but Maddox is she's actually considered a Storm Knight, so she's got this blue armor, and she's kind of all about electricity herself.
Yes. So, I'm actually going to, let's see, I'm going to boost to hit you.
Okay.
Because, frankly, I want to show people how that works. So
sounds good.
I'm going to use 1 focus to buy an extra dice to hit.
All right.
My range attack, or RAT, as it is on the stats, is a 6. So, like the spell I did before, I need a 6 to hit you.
That's right.
But instead of using the focus, this time I'm using the RAT because it is a ranged attack.
Yep. All right, so you're looking for a 6. He's rolling 6 plus his 3d6, and that's double 6s. That's pretty good. Does he have any crit effect? So normally, guys, this is what would trigger a crit effect if you had one. So you don't always have them, but if you roll a double on any of the dice, then that's considered a crit. Alternatively, rolling double 1s or triple 1s is always considered to be a miss. So that's something. It doesn't happen super often, but it typically happens when it's a key roll.
Yeah, exactly. So he does not have a critical effect, so that just means I just hit you very well.
Yep, excellent.
And now I'm going to pay another focus to boost the damage, which means I still use the 3 dice, but now I add my different colored ones so we know where the damage is taking place. And this is a POW 10.
Okay.
So your armor was 16.
16, so this is going to be dice off 6.
Yep. Okay, so we have, the dice came up 4, 4, 2. So I'm going to remove the 2 and a 4, which leaves us with 4 points of damage to the 1 column.
Okay.
Number 1 column.
1, 2, 3, 4. So, and when you fill up a column, guys, so you started in the 1, so I've only got 2 there, you're going to move to the next column to the right. So none of my systems are out, but he is now through my hull and doing damage to some of my systems. All right.
Okay.
And what other abilities do you have on your gun, Pat?
The other ability I have on there is Lightning Generator. When a model is directly hit with a basic attack from this weapon, lightning arcs from the model hit to D3 consecutive additional models. The lightning arcs to the nearest model it has not already arced to within 4 inches of the last model it arced to.
All right.
And that's ignoring that model.
Yep, so what you'll do, so guys, when you have to roll a d3, so you're going to roll a d6 and divide it by 2, rounding up. All right, so we've rolled a 4, which divided by 2 is a 2, so it's 2 additional bounces. So what's going to happen is my mitigator was the direct target. The only thing that's within 4 inches is Pat's unfortunate Lancer here, so nothing else is close enough. So even though this is Pat's model, the lightning is going to bounce from my model to Pat's model, and then if there are any other models within 4 inches of that model, it would bounce 1 additional time because Pat rolled 4, which is 2 on a d6.
Exactly. Now, if some models will have immunity to certain elements, quite a number of things in Signar, for example, have immunity to electricity.
Like if this was another Firefly, for example.
Exactly. But the Lancer does not. It is just a fairly militaristic utility piece. So he actually takes the hit. And what that means is, since he's being electrocuted, each model the lightning arcs to suffers an unboostable POW 10 electrical damage roll. Lightning arc damage rolls are not considered to be having caused by an attack, which some abilities trigger off of being hit by an attack, so this would not trigger that. Resolve lightning arc damage rolls simultaneously with the damage resulting from an attack that caused the lightning arc. So my model straight up takes a POW 10 electrical damage.
All right. What's the armor on your Lancer, Pat?
The armor on my Lancer is... Come on.
I believe he's got a base armor.
He has a base armor of 16.
Okay. And then he's also got a shield, so you guys can maybe see it on camera. But the shield, typically when a model has a shield or a buckler, it'll have a value of either +1 or +2 on the model. So Pat's effective armor is 18. So this is going to be a dice off of 8 rolls.
Yes, and again, we are using the different colored dice to note where exactly on my machine's body it takes the damage. So this will be off 8.
So no damage there. So the
It
average on
almost did.
the average on 2d6 is 7. So it was you need a spike to hit, but you do have to keep in mind that there are some abilities in the game that can inadvertently hurt your own dudes.
Exactly. You always want to be careful of that, folks.
All right.
Okay.
What's next, Pat?
Next up is the last guy in my group, Mr. Big Old Heavy Hitter Ironclad. And Mr. Ironclad here, you know, he's going to actually, I'm going to use the one focus
Okay.
to let him run, which makes him quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually not going to run his full speed, because
Okay.
his full speed would be 10. I only want him a little bit closer.
Fair enough.
So I actually am going to run him 6 inches up
Okay.
to there,
Mm-hmm.
and takes that with him. And that is going to be it for my turn.
Okay.
So
All right. So I will switch the turn count. So we're now at the top of turn 3. Okay, so my mitigator has taken a beating. So I actually have a special ability on Syntherian. So it's called a Field Marshal. So lots of Warcasters and Warjacks will have an ability that they kind of impart to the Warjacks or Warbeasts in their battle group. So my Field Marshal is called Auto Repair. So during your control phase, remove D3 damage points from this model. So
no!
yes, so I will go ahead. So I don't have any continuous effects for resolve, so I'm going to go ahead and replenish my focus. All right, up to 6. I have my resourceful ability, so I don't have to pay to upkeep my spells. Sadly, the disruption stays on my Warjack, so it's not considered a continuous effect. So I don't roll to see if it goes out. Normally, if it was a fire, for example, you would roll, and on a 1 or a 2 on the d6, it would go out. But the disruption stays. So that Warjack is going to be limited in what he's able to do. Which is sad times. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead, and I'm just going to do a couple of quick measurements before I do my turns. So, let's see what we want to do. So my Warjack is a speed of 4, so he threatens 8 in total. All right. And if I get that off, then he can go 2 more. All right. So I am going to go ahead and start with. Can you confirm if your Firefly has set defense? I think that might be just the Lancer.
Correct. The Lancer has set defense,
Okay.
but the Firefly does not.
Okay, so set defense, if you see a guy that has a big pokey spear, oftentimes it means he's kind of like bracing that spear on the charge, so he gets a defense bonus. So your Firefly is a defense of 13, is that right?
I believe so.
All right.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So yeah, keep that in mind, folks. You see a big nasty spear on something, and you're going to run in there, you're probably going to get Pokemon.
Yep. And your heavy Warjack is a def 11 or 12?
It is a def 12.
Def 12.
It is
Same
a
as
big
the best
slow
Warjack,
machine. So,
yeah. All right.
although I do love the fact that my machines are on your shirt.
Yes, I've got a Warmachine shirt on here right now that has that. So, all right, so that's going to be, so you're going to be a 12. I need 6 to hit that. This seems like it's going to be interesting. So if he goes to there.
Well, let's face it, things are always more fun when they're interesting.
Yes. So I'm
It
just
beats the
planning.
alternative.
I'm just planning out my turn a little bit, guys, to kind of see where I need to end up with people. So I have a range of 1 on there, so he would have to be there.
What does it mean? Painted.
Congrats, you're fully painted for week 1.
All right. So, and he is going to be
Actually, I built Mads last night.
magnetic.
Nope.
Yeah, the next thing is going to be Possum. Possum triple soul.
Okay.
So most people are posse.
Well, because Manhawk is going to die next.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to allocate 3 focus to my galvanizer.
Ooh, big spender.
Yeah. So I'm going to. Now, is it worth doing that? I don't think there's really anybody Charge there. He's not going to be able to charge. Be able to do that. There's so many things to do. So many things. Can't allocate any focus there anyway. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with my Forge Master Syntherian. So he is going to move up, and he's going to get just within 8 inches of Mr. Heavy Warjack here. There. And I can see him just past. So this is where I'm going to just check line of sight, guys. So line of sight, the way it works is you draw a line from your base. So I'm touching, for example, with this laser, Syntherian's base, and I'm just seeing to make sure I can touch the base on the ironclad. So I can see him from there, so that's good, and I'm within 8 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and I will start by shooting him, because I believe Syntherian has a gun. He does have a gun, it's range 11, so I'll go ahead and I'll take a pot shot at him just to see if this will do anything.
At the Firefly?
At the ironclad. So
Ironclad.
my gun is electrical, so I can't hurt your fire. So.
Oh, come on, you can try.
He's a 13. Do I want to shoot him instead? He's an 18 as well, right? They're both the same.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to shoot at him. So his defense is a 12.
Yep.
So my rat is a 5, so I'm needing a 7. I'm not going to boost this. This is just more extra damage if it happens to work. So I roll a 3, so that is a total of 8, so I will not hit. Nothing else happens because there's nobody else in that melee, so the attack just misses. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend 3 to cast Magnetic Hold for... It's 3, so Magnetic Hold is target model unit suffers -2 speed and defense and cannot charge or make slam or trample power attacks. Friendly faction construct models charging an affected model gain +2 movement. So it would have been smarter in hindsight for me to do this first because my focus stat is actually higher than my rat. So if I had managed to hit that, I mean, I still would have missed in that case, but it would have been smarter for me to do this first before I shot. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend the 3.
Okay.
I'm going to roll my 2d6. I don't have the focus to boost this because this other focus is on Mr. Galvanizer.
Okay.
So I'm looking for a 6. So there's a bit of a risk, guys. Typically, you're going to roll a 7 on 2d6. And I just rolled a 6, so I managed to hit just barely. So you are magnetic held. Boom. I don't believe that is an
Yay. Now we know how fridges everywhere feel.
Yes. Held down by all the magnets. Oh, it is an upkeep. Nice.
Ooh.
Okay, that's pretty nifty. Okay, so that does, I don't believe that has a, there's no damage roll there, so it's just for the extra effect. Now I'm going to go ahead and just for some extra goodness, I'm going to have my mitigator, he's going to sit to aim, and he's going to shoot at this guy. So I don't have any focus at all, so I'm just having to hard roll it. So to aim, I'm forfeiting my movement, so I'm not moving at all, but in return, I'm getting +2 to my ranged attack roll. So it's kind of like he's taking the extra time to aim. So I'm going to aim at your Lancer. Your Lancer is a defense of 13, so I'm going to roll my 2d6.
Okay.
My rat is 5, but it goes up to a 7 because I've aimed. So I'm needing to roll a 6. All right, so I will just hit you, so I'm just barely rolling. I'm not rolling average here, guys. So that will hit you.
Okay.
You will take a whole 1 point of damage to your 4, and you are knocked down. So this is a Quake gun. So Pat's model is now knocked down, so he has to either force him to stand up or sacrifice something once it comes to his turn. So it's this guy wasn't super effective because he didn't have much for focus on him, but it did allow him to at least potentially mitigate that threat a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to charge with my galvanizer. So I'm going to spend 1 for the charge. I'm going to land in this spot here. Within the 1. I am going to roll to hit you. So you are a 13. I'm a 6, so I'm needing to hit
a 7.
Needing to hit a 7. 7s are hard. So you know what? We're gonna boost this one.
I suggest you move those up there so the people at home can
Oh,
see.
sorry. I'm going to boost this one. So I have inducted the first one to this guy.
Okay.
I'm boosting, so I've left him within 6 inches specifically so he can receive the focus from his buddy.
Okay.
And so now I'm going to roll an additional dice to hit. I want this to hit because I'm charging, and charging will do extra damage. So I'm rolling 3d6, and I am a mat of 6, looking for a 7. So I will hit you. So that's a 16 that I've hit. So I'm going to go ahead and do my damage now. So my POW on my Galvanizer is a POW 12. So because I've charged, normally for your damage you're just going to be rolling 2d6. If you charge, you automatically are boosted for an extra dice. So
It's
so
basically, you think of it
automatic.
as in your momentum from you rushing
Exactly.
forward gives the added.
Exactly. And then I'm also going to roll this black dice, which is going to show which column I'm going to be doing the damage to. So what's the armor on your Firefly, sir?
The Firefly does not have a shield or anything fancy, so he has
Alright.
just a base armor of 16.
Okay. Oh, and I did not get a crit. He has crit grievous wounds, which means if I happen to crit Pat's model, Pat would not be able to heal that model in any way or repair it in case of a warjack. So, all right. So you said 16?
16.
All right. So dice off of 4, looking for big money now. Yes. So
I
I'll
like
point this
that.
out, guys. So this dice off of 4. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's another one just to be safe. So I've actually done 0 damage on that charge attack. So
I like
good,
that.
It's a good thing I boosted. So dice
So
have
there's 0 damage to the one column.
yes, exactly.
Okay,
All
I'll put
right,
that
so
in there.
that was pretty great.
There we go, commit. It works.
I have hit you though, so my synergy goes up for my subsequent models. He's going to buy 1 more attack here.
Okay.
And I'm rolling, so synergy does not affect that model because it's still on his activation. So I'm still looking for a 7. That'll hit. And this is going to be dice off of 4. For no more damage. Pat, you can heal one if you like.
Okay, I'll heal
Alright.
one then.
Okay, so that's that. So that was pretty great, Mr. Galvanizer, and Reconstruct can go with you. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead with our Cipher, and I'm going to charge. So now with Magnetic Hold, I get plus 2 inches of movement when I'm charging. So I am speed 4. I charge for 7 with my plus 3. I have a reach of 1, which is 8. And then that puts me to 10 inches. So I can get in there no problem. So I'm going to land like such. So I have him in my 1 inch. So when you charge, you turn to face the model in such a way that it's going to bring you into melee. So I have a 1 inch melee range. Then you move your full speed
In a straight
until
line.
in a straight line. So there's no curving or anything. You have to go straight.
No banana charge.
And then until you reach melee with the target, and then you turn to fully face. So you can see he's fully facing the Ironclad now. So now I will continue to. Oh, I do have to spend the 1 focus to charge because Magnetic Hold does not give me any bonuses for free charges or anything. So I've charged in. Now I am at a base mat of 6, but because I hit with my previous model with synergy, I go up to mat 7. So I'm going to swing at you with my first attack on the Cipher, which
Okay.
is called a Piston Spike. So you
Okay,
can
this is
that.
defense 12.
Defense 12, so I'm needing a 5 to hit. All right, so I hit. Finally rolled a 7 on the 2 dice, which is good. So I'm going to roll my damage. So because I've charged, it's boosted automatically. The base POW plus strength on my melee weapon. So you'll see it broken down into the POW of the weapon and then the strength of the model. But it'll actually be called P plus S on the grid there to kind of give you an idea of what the actual total is. So if your strength had gone up, for example, if I had a spell on here that made my strength go up, that would affect my total POW plus strength and the damage that I'm doing. So I am rolling, so I've got a base POW plus strength of 18, but because of synergy, I'm a 19. So Pat, your armor was 18.
18, so that means you are going to be dice and you add 1 to whatever
That's
you
right.
roll.
So dice plus 1, looking for a 3. All right, so
Oh,
now I
there you
have
go.
rolled, so that's going to be 13 damage to the 3 to start with.
13.
So Pat's going to go ahead and add his damage and then move it over to the next column when he fills up a column.
So there's the 13
Okay.
to the 3.
And it's
So
landed just on the right spot, so nothing is out yet.
Yep.
All right.
So you have completely destroyed 2 columns.
That was a good hit. So
Yeah, that is 2 boxes of Cortex and 2 boxes of movement.
Yep, nice. Okay, so now I have 2 melee attacks. So whenever you do your activation, you always get to use the melee attacks that you have, they're called initials for free, so without having to buy any more. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll to hit again. So I am effective mat 7 with my second initial, looking for a 5, and I will hit you. And this is a POW plus strength 19 again.
Now
so
this one is not boosted because it is not the charge.
That is correct. So I'm just rolling 2d6 plus my column. I could boost it for extra damage, but because I'm doing +1 anyway, I'm better off to just keep buying attacks. So, all right, so dice +1. All right, so that's going to be another 10 to the 6. Now my rolls are coming out.
So we're doing the 6 and
Yep.
we got 10.
So that's probably going to cripple a system.
And commit. Actually, no.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Okay. That is still fully functional. So
Yeah, you took out 1 box on the left, 1
Nice.
box on the right, and
Nice.
the rest was hull damage.
Okay. Well, we'll see if I can fix that. I'm going to buy my first fought attack. I have nobody else that this can induct to because everybody else is already gone.
Ironclad is proving to be a tough old bugger.
All right. So I'm needing a 5. Again, my effective mat is 7. That will miss. So I'll buy one last one,
Whoa.
and that will hit. Just. And this is dice +1 again.
Yeah, I'm starting to think your dice have been hanging out with mine too much.
Oh, man. So 4 points to your 4.
4, so we're going to collect the 4 column, and we're going up 4, and that is commit. So that is my cortex and my right side
Okay,
exactly.
So that's better. So guys, when your right side gets crippled, so all of you can see, it might be hard to see on the camera, but Pat has 3 R boxes underneath the hull. So I have damaged those, so those are all taken out. So that means the weapon that's in his right hand, and you can tell that by looking at the card, it'll actually say L or R for the weapon that he's got.
Which in this case is my open fist.
Okay, so that means that if he attacks with that weapon that's in his right hand, he's going to be rolling 1 less dice to hit, so he'd only be rolling 1 dice to hit, and also just 1 dice for damage. So it severely cripples your effectiveness. And the other part is that I've crippled his cortex, which is pretty huge. It's effectively disruption, but it's permanent until he gets healed. So that means that Pat is not going to be able to allocate any focus to his ironclad, which potentially means that his ironclad isn't going to be doing as much damage as it could because it can't buy extra attacks and that sort of thing, or it couldn't potentially boost to make up for that. So if he was only doing 1 dice damage, he could boost to do 2 dice damage as an example. So crippling things is
Always
significant. So all right, so that is all of my models. That is everything I could do. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Pat.
Okay, excellent. So Maddox regains her focus. Let's see, she has her spells, but they are not in the best of condition at the moment. So I'm not gonna pay to upkeep this one.
Okay.
Because he's not gonna be doing any charging anytime soon.
Yep.
And let's see, I am gonna pay the 1 to upkeep Onslaught on herself.
Sure.
And
Leaving her on 5.
yep, and now for the power-ups, Lancer gets 1, Firefly gets 1,
Yep.
and he gets 1.
He does not get 1 because
his
cortex is crippled. So.
Yeah, which for anyone, so the cortex is almost like the brain/soul of the machine.
Exactly. Cortex is probably one of the worst spots to get taken out because it severely limits what you're able to do.
Yes, it does. So let's see.
This is also what where you, if you wish, so this guy is knocked down right now. So you have 2 options when a model, specifically a Warjack or a Warbeast or Warcaster, are knocked down. In this phase, you can either spend 1 to stand up and then he can act completely normally, or on his activation, he has to either sacrifice his movement or his combat action in order to do anything. So you're basically half effective. So you can allocate the focus first if you're wanting him to do anything.
I'm just going to use the power up focus to shake that.
All right, so that has been shaken.
Come
so
on,
no longer,
shake it off.
Yep, he's no longer knocked down.
Okay, so now comes
This goes off now because it lasts for 1 round.
Yep, now comes the focus allocation for myself. So, what the heck? Just checking a few things before I actually do my allocation.
It's always good to double check your abilities, see what your models can do,
Yep.
and always take extra looks at the table. So the big thing about Warmachine Hordes is your Warcaster Warlock is the linchpin of your entire army. So you could be down to one model, you'd be losing hardcore, but if you happen to somehow get a bead on your opponent's Warcaster Warlock to the point where you can do enough damage to take them out, you actually win the game. So your opponent could have completely tabled you, but if you happen to get that either through good play, getting that line on them, or through wild dice, sometimes you roll 666s on damage or whatever, then you can make that happen and pull the game out of there. So it's always good to look for those options.
Exactly, and because of that, I'm going to be putting 3 focus on my Lancer.
That is the correct call.
And she is going to be camping 2.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. She's a speed 6. So. Okay, I'm going to activate Maddox first. So she has a whopping speed 6.
Yep.
So we're gonna move her to here for 3. And then up to here, the other 3.
Okay.
And that. Okay. And okay. Maddox is actually going to fire her gun.
Okay. I duck.
Sorry, no ducks. That's just too foul.
Yup.
I'm gonna boost because I really want to hit. So Maddox is shooting her Storm Strike blade, which one thing I like about the model is essentially it's where she has carrying a big sword, but the sword actually opens up into 2 and becomes an electrical cannon.
Yeah,
So.
You'll find that theme throughout Signar. A lot of their, I think they're called galvanic blades or something like that. They've got like a lightning coil in the blade, so they either will do additional electricity damage or have some other effect that either shoots it or has it bounce other people. So.
Now I could shoot you, except I don't have line of sight because of this guy, and I believe there is too much forest in that case.
Could very well be.
Yes. Yeah. Between Maddox and yes. So if there's 3 inches of forest between you and your opponent, you can't quite see.
That's right.
If there's 2.999, you can see.
Yeah, if he's this way a little bit, for example, then you could see into the forest. If you're completely behind the forest, like if I was sitting here and Pat was here, even though this is less than 3 inches of forest, because the terrain template is between us and I'm not in it, then that would block line of sight as well.
Unless you have an ability that allows that.
So where Pat's sitting right now, if he tries to see past this guy, he's kind of has to come out this way because the warjack is there, and then he'd have to also come out that way.
Exactly. So I'm going to be rolling 3 dice to hit you, and that's 12.
Sorry, and which one are you shooting at?
This
the
one.
Little guy? Okay,
Yep.
I'm a 12. That's right.
She's a rat 6, so again we're looking for 6. Yep, there's one right there.
Yep, that'll do it.
There is no crit ability with her.
Okay.
Oh wait, sorry. Now it says Tempest, but Tempest is the melee form of the blade, so.
Okay.
So that means it wouldn't work with the range, correct?
So what are you looking at? So if you switch over here, oops.
Yeah. So
you have on your gun, you have crit disruption. So that little star with a disruption. So that means if you crit, which you didn't.
No, which I did not.
Then you would have gotten the disruption if you crit. So switch over.
But when it says the Tempest, which is also
That's-
the name of her sword, that is
Right.
the melee version.
That's correct, because on the cards they'll typically
Exactly.
separate out the melee and the range weapon, even though they may be coming from the same thing.
Exactly.
will
That's
be
why I
named
wanted to
different
point that out to everyone.
Yep.
So, and I'm going to use 1 to boost the damage.
Okay, sounds good.
And this is a POW 12.
Okay, so dice off of 4.
Dice -4.
My armor is 16 on the mitigator. Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
So we'll take away this whole dice
Mhm.
and 2 off of here, which
Okay.
means you've got 10 points to the 2.
2. Ouch. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
That's
4,
why she's the boss.
7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that hurts. So my everything luckily is still online because this guy does not have a left and right. They have like a head spot. So the head is kind of you'll see there after I've committed it. It's like kind of spread out across the bottom. So that hurt, but luckily he is still functional.
Yep, and now I am going to activate Maddox's Feat,
Mhm.
which is her once per game ability.
So feats are very, very powerful. They're typically going to do something like making your guys more survivable, making them hit harder, or potentially doing something cool like bringing back dead models. The only time you
Yes.
can't use a feat is if you have run or failed a charge.
So, and her feat is Thundering Rage.
Mhm.
While in Maddox control range, friendly faction models' melee weapons gain +3 POW and beat back. Thundering Rage lasts for 1 turn.
Mhm.
Now, immediately after a basic attack with a weapon with beatback is resolved during the model's combat action, the enemy model hit can be pushed 1 inch directly away from the attacking model. After the enemy model is pushed, the attacking model can advance up to 1 inch directly towards it.
Yep. So basically, you're whacking them, sending them back a bit, and then following up so you can keep
Exactly.
attacking. So you can kind of push them all over the place as you're hitting them.
Yep, and I'm putting down this. This is my personal feat token.
Yeah. So so feat's a pretty big part of the game, and it's pretty game changing typically. So it's very important to mark when you feated so that people know what has happened. So they
Not to mention, it's a good reminder for yourself.
Yes.
Because
yes.
there are lots of feats that will affect both my turn and his.
Mhm. It's easy to forget things if you don't have it clearly marked.
Exactly. And now for the fun,
Mm-hmm.
my Lancer.
Yep.
He's going to do what his name date says.
You gonna land stuff. What is your Lancer speed, Pat?
My Lancer's speed is 6.
All right.
And he gains an additional 3 inches for the charge.
That's right. And what spells do you have up, Pat?
Ooh. I have Onslaught.
Mhm. What does Onslaught give you when you charge?
Onslaught gives me all sorts of fun.
Mhm.
Onslaught, let's see, so spellcaster and friendly faction models beginning their activation on control range gain relentless charge for 1 turn, which means he can run through the forest unhindered.
That's right. So in this case, he's close enough that it probably wouldn't matter anyway, particularly because he's got reach. So he's got a 2-inch reach on his big stick. But if this was a half-inch melee range or something, it could start to matter once you start getting into this rough terrain because you're moving at, it's costing you double your movement. And we'll look here, and from the range that the side that Pat's coming from, he can see into the forest because there's not more than 3 inches between them.
Exactly.
The forest.
And the nice thing is, with the Pathfinder not meaning I can run through the forest without being caught up in it,
Mhm.
it means I can also hit you with the shield, which is
That's
another
right.
one of my initial attacks,
That's
which is
right.
an extra attack.
That's right. So you will find that some weapons have different ranges. So the
spear is
because
2
it's
inches,
is two.
the shield is 0.5,
There
which
you
is half an inch.
So Pat wants to get in nice and close so he can take advantage of all of his attacks. That's very
Yes.
important.
So I pay the 1
Mhm.
for the charge,
Yep.
and I'm getting into base contact
Yep.
because I have the speed.
Mhm. All right, now Syntherian's defense is 13. So Pat, what is your
13.
mat? What's your mat, Pat? Pat, Matt?
Pat's mat is lovely 6.
All right. So you are needing to roll a 7 to hit me. And I'm assuming so when you do a charge, you can choose which weapon you're going to use. You
Yes.
typically want to use either the most powerful weapon that does the most damage, or in some cases, it'll be a weapon that has a cool special ability or something.
Yes, like for example, the Lancer has a shock ability on his
Mhm.
shield,
Yep.
which disrupts Jack. So it actually makes sense if I was charging a Jack
Mhm.
to actually use that to guarantee I get the disruption off.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But because this is your caster,
Yeah.
I'm going for the spear.
Yep. All
And
right.
what I'm going to do is, because I need a 7 to hit,
Mhm.
that's mathematically, that's where we start getting into
So
the
I am
question.
at armor 18.
Yeah, and with the +3 from Maddox, this is
Mm-hmm.
a 16, so
Okay.
that's dice off 2.
Yeah, dice off 2. I have no focus on me. So,
Yep.
guys, if I had focus on me, if he did damage to me, I could spend a focus to boost my power shield, so it's kind of like my Warcaster armor. And if I did that, it would subtract 5 damage from one of the attacks.
So-
but I don't have.
But you know what the heck, let's just do the
All right,
straight
hard roll on the 7.
hard roll in the 7.
All right, here we go. Roll like Dave.
Ooh.
So that is a miss.
So there, the boost
Charge
would
attack.
have gotten it.
Okay, so that's where the risk comes in, guys. Because
Yep.
it's risk versus reward because he's got the remaining.
Which also means I lose the bonus dice for the charge.
Mhm.
So that's why, it's usually a good idea when you're hitting
If
that
it's a
7.
critical roll.
Yeah, if it's an important roll or if you're hitting the odds where you start needing 7 or higher, it's a good idea to boost.
This one it's sketchy though because he also has to do enough damage with the hits to power through the health that I have.
Exactly. So now we're going to do the hit with the shield.
Okay, sounds good. So needing a 7.
I'm not going to boost it.
All right, excellent. I like it. I like it.
You asked me to roll like
There
you,
we go.
so.
I'm a slippery, floaty man.
Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to buy an attack.
Okay,
And this is coming from my spear.
makes sense. Yeah.
Now, should I do it? Yes, I should. The correct answer is I should.
All right.
So,
So you're boosting the hit.
boosting to get that extra dice.
Okay, sounds good.
There we
That will
go.
hit more than a 7. All right.
Yes, it
So
will.
my armor is 18.
So that is because of Maddox's feat, which gives me the +3.
Mhm.
My base from the spear power strength is 13.
Okay.
So that puts me up to 16. So I'm dice minus 2.
Minus 2. And you'll see, guys, along the bottom of the Warcaster card, there's a line of health. So
Now this one is uneven, and I am therefore what we call
Yep.
cocked.
Yep.
I'm going to re-roll it.
sounds good. I'm cool with
So we have-
another one.
Yeah, we have 1
All
and
right.
still a 3.
So, all right. So,
So
dice
minus
off
2, so that means I get 2 points of damage to your
Okay.
caster.
So I'm going to take the 2 points of damage. Whew! I'm not gonna lie, guys. Syntherian was sweating. I thought for sure I was going to be dead.
And I have beat back.
You do have
Yes,
that. So,
So you move 1 inch directly away.
all right. Because you hit me just the once, right?
Yes, I did.
And now this is going to be affected by terrain, so I will actually only move half an inch because I'm in the forest.
Yep.
Slows me down.
And
I have Pathfinder.
and as part of beat back, I follow you up to an inch,
Yep.
so I stay right up there.
Sounds good.
Oops, I think I edged you.
Yeah, you can move half an inch total, so which puts you basically where you are.
Actually, let's see. Where is it? Sorry, I'm just trying to look up something here.
No worries.
Just want to double check for everyone at home. Let's see. After the enemy model is pushed, the attacking model can advance up to 1 inch.
Yes, you're just in rough terrain, so which
Yeah.
is why it would be half.
Exactly. I just want
Yeah.
people to know at home
Yeah.
that in normal situations you
Exactly.
can do the full.
Exactly.
So,
Alright. What else are you going to do?
okay. Well, that was my big play. Oh no. So what we're gonna do now is Ironclad's gonna give you a whack on the head because you hurt him.
Yup, sounds good.
So Mr. Ironclad is a whopping rat 6.
Okay.
Your defense is
My defense on my big stompy robot is 10.
okay. Now I'm using my hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which is
that
a non-missile
which is
system.
the left. Yeah. So it is still functioning. So I can still use 2 dice to hit you.
What's your mat?
My mat is 6.
Okay, so you're looking for a 4.
That's
it.
a hit.
All right. So what is your POW plus strength?
POW plus strength with the Quake Hammer is 18.
Okay, and then with Maddox's feet, you're going to 21.
Exactly.
Plus
21 with
So
beat
you
back.
are dice plus 2.
Exactly.
I like it. I
And
like it.
now I'm rolling exactly like you, so
Okay.
that's going to be
5 to my 3.
exactly
Okay.
5 to the 3.
Okay, I like it.
And you are pushed 1 inch back,
Okay.
and I follow you 1 inch.
Yes, indeed. Which you will be clipping.
My own base, which
Yeah,
means
so
I'm only stopping.
yeah. So you may do. It's optional. Do you
No,
want? Because if you push me out, you're not going to have me in melee still. So.
Yeah, because it's a can ability, it means I can choose not to, so I'm not going to.
Okay, sounds good. Makes
And
sense.
do I have the? It's still 1 inch, so I'm going to try to attack you with my open fist, which is the crippled one.
Okay.
So that.
So you're looking for a 4.
Exactly.
Ooh,
Yes.
Nice. Nice.
My hand may be broken, but I still hit you.
That hurts.
Okay, so because that's crippled, then the damage is also only 1 dice, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
This is a power strength 14.
Okay.
Yes, it goes up to 17
Okay, so
with
it's
the 3.
dice off 2. All right, so
2 more
2
points to the 2.
Okay.
I machine slap you.
All right, so 2 to the 2. There we go. I'll do it that way. All right. Ow!
Yep, he might have broken arm, but he's still gonna take you down. And finally, Mr. Firefly. Let's see. Mr. Firefly, bring me a dream. So, his Electro Glaive, which is his big fancy spear, has a reach of 2. So, he is going to just harpoon your big guy.
Okay. That sounds like it's going to hurt.
So, I am a mat 6.
Okay.
So, I need 4s. Yep. See, this is what
the dice goes
people.
both ways.
Exactly. Hey, we don't question dice on what they prefer.
The dice tend to balance things out. The best
Yeah,
laid plans
no matter
for
how good something might
Yeah.
look on paper, dice
Yeah.
are a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to buy an attack.
Okay. And for 4.
There we go.
Oh, that's. Do you have any crit effect?
On the Electro Glaive, no, it does not.
Okay. All right.
It
What's
is
your cutoff?
normally a power strength 13, but plus the 3 from my feet
Plus 16.
goes to 16.
All right. Okay, sounds good. So that's going to be a dice off 3.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. One,
So
to
1
the
point
2.
to the 2.
Okay, perfect. That works for me.
And I'm going to beat you back this time.
Okay.
And this time, my Firefly is going to follow you to keep you in combat.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and so it's directly away. So I'm going to
Yes.
go this way. There's no rough terrain or anything to interfere
Nope.
with us. We're going to go. And this time there is no model in Pat's way, so you have to go directly toward for the beat back. So there's no model that's going to be stopping him. So he's going to come right
Exactly.
into there. All
Which
right.
also means I believe you're out of range from my Ironclad.
Ooh. Yes, I'll have to move to get in there. So during the beatback movement, you can change your facing. So how would you like your facing to be?
I'm just going to turn this way, so I'm still keeping both of you in my front guard.
Makes sense. Okay, sounds good.
He's trying to stick up for his big brother.
Yeah, he's in there. He's doing it. He's doing it.
Okay, that is my turn.
Okay, sounds good.
You wouldn't want him with my big brother. Terrible.
All right.
Oh, he's a
so
very older big brother. He's a geriatric big brother.
we'll switch over. So we're going to be on the
And what turn is this?
Turn 4.
Turn 4, because turn 7 it ends.
Yes, and whoever has the most models left in this particular scenario, that's how that works. All right, so we'll go ahead and I don't think I need. Do I want magnetic hold still up? What else do I need to accomplish?
Well, it's all free. It's
Well, only on my battle group, so I do have to spend it if I want to upkeep it on Pat's models. But I'm thinking Pat's model's probably going to be dead, but we'll see.
whoa, pick on the big brother.
Okay, so
Picking on the old
nothing
man.
is disrupted. My feet does fun stuff too. So I'm just gonna pull his proxy out of there. Get clip there. All right. And the galvanizer is a.
Now this is an important turn for Dave, because he needs to think about how to handle things. Because we still technically have all of our models, but I've got something engaged with his caster.
Yep,
And-
which can be bad times, that's for sure.
I mean, some casters do very good in melee, others not so much. And Lord Swiss Army Knife there, I don't think is one of the ones who really prefers being in melee.
He prefers not to be, for sure.
Meanwhile,
Alright.
my caster is honestly very open. So,
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead. I will spend the 1 to upkeep the magnetic hold. I guess first of all I have to. When does his field marshal go off?
yes, do your
Control
repairs.
phase, so it all happens in the same. So
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and do my repair. So on. Does that happen just on Warjacks?
I believe it's battle.
Oh no, it's yes, him
Yeah,
too.
so, yeah.
Okay, so on Syntherian, he gets 1 back.
Yeah, it's just like my Jumi 3 list because he has aggressive healing
Okay, nice.
or hyper. He has hyper regen, which is his whole battle group, including himself.
On the Cypher, I'm going to get 3 back. I like that. On the Galvanizer has not been hurt yet, I don't believe. Nope. The Mitigator.
And all my Lancer has to say to your caster right now, hey, Laser Lips, your mother was a
3.
snowblower.
1, 2, and 3. All right, so that's good. So done all my healing.
5 extra bonus points at home for anyone that knows where that quote comes from.
So I am going to spend 1 of my stack of 6 to upkeep the magnetic hold. The reason I'm doing that is because it drops Pat's defense, so it makes it more likely that my Cypher is going to be able to finish him off.
Ooh, excuse me.
So
Maybe some of the dog hair is still got on me.
lovely. So Maddox is
They
there.
have questioned.
Yes.
No. Corey's gone.
I need to get out of there.
He's doing a little bit of house sitting for him. What was it, WTC? Netflix is dangerous.
Yes. Netflix is dangerous.
I've never had access to it before. I kind of sat down and watched all of Dark Crystal Age of Resistance
Yes.
in one shot.
Yes, that is.
What do you think?
It was good.
Yeah, it's worth a watch for sure.
Of course, it helps too that I'm a huge fan of practical effects, and that's like 95% practical. I mean, it's all Muppets and everything, so. But they did a good job with that. I'm impressed.
So we're gonna go
20 years
ahead.
later, or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's even long because I think they made that in the 70s.
He's gonna
Quick to the internet.
feet to do that. But in order to do that, he's got to, I think he might just have to.
Actually, I'm sure chat will correct us.
All right.
Chatpedia, right?
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to allocate 3 to this gentleman. Actually, let's see. I can take. So your strength bonus. How long does it last for? Is it 1 turn or 1 round?
Let me double check.
For the rest of its life.
Thundering Rage lasts for 1 turn.
Okay, sounds good. So your feet is gone, so I don't have to worry about
Yep.
extra power from free strikes if Syntherian moves away. So that's good.
Wow.
All right.
No more superpower jacks.
I need to get out of there.
No, you must get deeper in.
Yeah. So
Come into the Lancer.
I will.
It has the arc node on it, so
You
come into the light.
You can move this way, whack him a bunch. Then you can potentially kill me.
Yeesh, you sound like a mobster already. He wants to whack me.
Get whacked. So I can move back
Come on,
there.
Dave.
Can
This PG.
there. We're gonna do. What's he want to do? He could knock him down.
He's gonna make a wreck marker.
I need to make sure I don't die is the big thing. So I think that's probably what I just gotta focus on doing. So, all right. Do I need my feet for anything? I don't think that's gonna help me super much.
Just standing there. That's all you need them for.
Yep. So I think I have to run away to do the Valen thing.
Follow in the footsteps of that nerds have historically followed in. Run away!
Yep. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to start with my Cypher. He is going to dirtle up.
Gonna dirtle the turtle.
He's going to dirtle up to here. Oops, I moved him, punch him in the face with the students. Here. He's going to swing his first swing at the Ironclad, so you're -2 defense.
Yeah, so that is def 10.
Okay. So
I've got a whole whopping 3 boxes left.
excellent. So I need a 4 to hit you. Oh, I just hit you. This is I'm POW 18.
We gotta recharge our dice.
Yes. This is straight dice now because you're back to armor, or you're at armor 18.
Yep.
All right, so straight dice. So that's going to be 9 points of damage.
It won't go up to 9, so
Okay.
we broke it.
All right. So my Cypher manages to destroy the ironclad, pummels it with my pummel fist.
Oh.
All right.
Synergy go.
And after I converted it.
Yes. So that gives me 1 point on my synergy. So I'll just put that right there.
Synergist.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to swing at the Firefly.
Okay.
Firefly is defense of 13.
13.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and swing. I missed 6. I need a 7. I'm going for it.
It only counts 1 day.
That'll hit you.
Yep.
Your armor is
Armor is 16.
16, so this is dice plus 3 on my. This is my second initial. All right, so that's going to be 9 points to your 2.
So we're going to the 2, and we have 9 points, you said?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to buy an attack.
Commit. Ooh, 2 boxes are gone out of the left side and 2 boxes of movement, but nothing is crippled.
Okay. I'm going to buy an attack, so I'm going to bounce that to Mr. Galvanizer here.
Okay.
And we'll roll, needing a 7 again. Unless I'm cheating myself. I believe I'm a 7.
Or I'm just cheating.
I need a 6, so needing a 7. Boom. So that'll hit you.
Yep.
This is dice plus 3 again. So that's going to be 10 to the 6.
Nice. 10. So we got the 6 column, and we're going up 10. 10. Commit.
Okay.
That knocks out my movement and my left side.
Perfect.
So the left side on him is my shock shield.
Ooh. Oh, nice. Good.
So, oh yeah, that's the shield. So I forgot he has a shield.
Yes, so now your
Oh
armor.
no, wait, sorry, that's the wrong model. That doesn't have a shield.
Gun.
Yeah, the left is his Storm Blaster. Sorry, folks. Reading the Lancer card.
Perfect.
They're Warjacks. They all look alike to me. I'm a troll.
So that's racist against all Warjack Nation. All right, I have
You know
another
what?
attack.
Screw you and your bolts too.
And your,
Literally, folks, they have screws and bolts. I'm happy
your
to be-
movement is now offline, right?
Yes,
So-
which means my defense drops.
Yes,
right?
I believe it's to a 5.
Yep. So,
Alright.
okay.
So not double ones, so that'll hit you.
Yep.
How much do you have left? I'm dice plus 3.
I got 7 left.
7 left. Dice plus 3. I'm going to boost this one
Boost.
to make sure.
I swear, we need to get the high school DXD
One,
sound
one.
file. No, just the sound file. Boost.
All right, so dice plus 3, so that's going to be enough to take him out.
Yep.
That's going to be 12 points to the 4.
Oh, sorry, it stops at 7.
So
You can only do 7.
you feel that the
Oh, there we go.
cipher,
That's how it works.
the cipher manages to explode the Firefly.
And in true anime fashion,
Kaboom! Yeah, there's a lot of electricity packed into there. So. All right.
Firefly blasting off again.
Now we're going to have Mr. Galvanizer go. So my Galvanizer is facing that direction, so I can't charge the lantern because my I'm not facing him. So I'm speed 5, so I can get. He's gonna walk around this way.
Listen, I do love how that thing's called a galvanizer. I really want someone to paint it up like Galvatron.
And he's pointing this way, so you're. So I've got you in my back. I've got your back arc, and I've got you still in my front arc. So
Okay.
I guess it doesn't really matter because he doesn't suffer back arc.
Yeah, because he's 360.
Yep. So he is going
He's
to.
360 no scope.
Yes. He's going to go ahead and swing on your Lancer. So your Lancer. So I'm getting a back strike. So when you're in the back arc of the model, their defense. I can't remember how the math goes. If their defense goes, I think you get +2 to hit. So I'm going
I
from,
believe so, yes.
instead of a -2, it works out the same, but it's
And
gets +2.
as an added bonus, since you're in my back arc, you are surpassing you're going around my shield.
That's right, because a shield is, as it would be in real life, it's focused in a particular direction. So
Not too many knights walk around with their shield over their butts.
there you go. There you go. I'm just gonna leave that there. So
What? I'm just talking about protection.
your base defense is 13. It goes down. I'm a mat of 6 base. Goes to 7 for synergy. So I'm going to be a mat 9 effective.
And I go down to I'm a def 13. You're in the back arc, so then minus.
So I'm adding that to my because it's a bonus to hit.
Okay, so I'm not def 13.
Def 13, and I'm a mat 9 effectively with synergy.
So you need to roll 4s.
All right, 4s are hard. So first initial, I will hit you. You
See,
are
you didn't hit the 4. What's wrong with you?
you are
You
grievous.
totally went past it.
You are grievous wounded. So we'll just put this here for now. I don't know if that's actually going to matter, but you're
Yeah.
not disrupted. You're grievous wounded.
Which
So
means I can't repair, which there's so much of that.
you
in
don't-
this.
CMG goes up.
I don't think you even have any repair.
No, there isn't in
Okay,
this.
so,
Not yet.
so I'm just going to put that away. Normally, you would keep that marked because that could be important, but because Pat doesn't have anything that can repair the model, we won't worry about it. Crit Grievous, so Grievous Wounds normally prevents damage being removed from a healing or repairing, which can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, so what's the damage?
So it's a POW 12, goes up to a 13 with the first stack of synergy because I do not benefit from my own
My
stack of
armor
synergy.
is 16, but because you're in my back arc, there's no bonus for my shield, so you're just hitting straight 16.
Straight 16 rather than 18. So I am POW 13, so a dice off 3. So you're going to take 2 points of damage to your 3.
So the 3 gets 1, 2. Okay, I like that.
Okay, I'm going to buy an attack. I'm going to
Yeah.
have that bounce to the mitigator.
Okay.
Looking for a 4. That'll get you. Dice off 4 again.
And I love that music.
Yeah, sorry guys, there's some really loud music going on in the background downstairs. What do I say, dice off 3? Because I'm a 13, so that's going to be 5 points to your 3.
5 points to the 3. Commit. Okay, my arc node is out of commission, and
Perfect.
2 of the boxes of my movement are.
Okay, so I'm going to buy another one. I'll hit you.
Yep.
Dice off 3. So that's going to be 4 points to your 4.
So we hit the 4 column, there we go. 4, commit. Okay.
Anything else?
Oh, nope.
Okay.
You're 2 out of the 3 cortex are down.
Okay. So last bot, I will send it to there because I have nowhere else to put it. Getting a 4, that'll hit. Dice off 3. That's going to be 5 to your 6.
So we got the 6 column. 6 column. Hello, 6. There we go. So, how many 5?
Dice off 3, yes. So 5 to your 6.
5 to the 6. Okay, that doesn't take out anything.
Nice. Nice.
That
Okay.
does 1 damage in the right side.
Okay, cool. All right, and so that's him. He's got his stuff now. All right, so he's only got a ½ inch on his melee. Ooh, that's pretty nice actually. So I've hit there. Do I want, what's Maddox's defense and armor?
Maddox. Maddox is defense 15, armor 16.
Okay. Everything's up there.
And if you were shooting at her, though, from that angle, you would be getting the defense bonus from the house.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a charge of this guy into Maddox. So he's going to come in this line out here, so we're not going to be dealing with the house at all. So
That's recommended.
I'm speed 5, so I can go up to 8, which will put me up here. So I'm just going to come this way in such a way to get here.
Mm-hmm.
Not give you the house bonus, but kind of the intention is to block your path through here. So
Yep, makes sense. That's a good
Alright,
idea.
so that's
Keeps
gonna
me
be-
from running away, because certain
One-
casters are wussies and like to do that.
Yes, so it's going to be 1 for the charge.
Okay.
I'm going to boost the hit, because you said you were 15?
I am a def 15.
Def 15. I'm a 6. I'm an 8 currently, because of synergy. So I'm an 8, so I need a 7 still. Yeah, we'll boost that one.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm looking for a 7. That will hit you. There's no crit because he's a puny. He's not supposed to be punching you. So he's actually headbutting you. So, not good. I am going to be. I don't need to roll a damage column. Sorry, your armor was?
Armor is 16.
And this will go here. Armor is 16, eh? So I'm, let's just see, carry the 1, POW 7. So I'm dice off 9. Oh, sorry, POW 7 plus 2 for the synergy. So he doesn't benefit from his own synergy. So I'm a POW 9.
And you've got the extra dice for the charge.
I do. All right, and so you're POW 16?
Yep.
So, and I'm 9, so we're dice off 7, if I'm not mistaken. So 3 points.
Okay, 3 points. Commit.
And then I will buy 1 more attack.
And hard roll.
And hard roll it. Bam! Nailed
Or
it.
not.
Nailed it with a miss. That was more just bonus damage. All right, now Mr. Syntherian is going to go. He is going to. So he's got 2 focus on him. He's going to step back in such a way that I'm keeping him in. So I have a ½ melee.
Okay.
So putting max of a ½ inch. And then we are going to swing at you. So Syntherian doesn't necessarily like to be doing this, but he's actually got an okay melee weapon. So his melee weapon doesn't have any specialness on there. So my melee weapon, which is called Workshop Array, because he likes to be like fixing stuff and building stuff, is actually POW 14. So
now he's got to go disassemble dead.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to pick you apart. He's not necessarily hitting you hard. He's kind of like unscrewing plates and like
Disassemble.
So I am
Disassemble.
I'm at 6. And,
Disassemble.
and I have full stacks on synergy, so synergy caps out at +3.
Yep.
So I go to a mat 9. So your defense is a 13 because your movement is still up.
Yep.
All right, so I'm needing a 4. So first initial attack, I will just hit you with a 4. So I am a POW.
This is the game of just.
POW 17.
Okay, wow. Your
Is your
armor.
your shield still up?
My shield is still up,
Okay.
so your dice -1.
Dice -1. All right. I'm gonna hard roll it. So 6 to the 3.
6 to the 3. Nice.
Second initial.
Okay, commit. That's right arm is out,
Okay.
which means his spear is out of commission,
Okay. Movement
and
still
his
up.
cortex is out.
Okay.
Yes.
Movement still up though. All right.
He's got his left arm
Okay.
and movement
Gain
left.
4. Gotcha. There's no crit. This is dice +1. I think we said.
-1.
Minus
Minus
1.
1.
Dice -1. Oh, okay. Is his shield still up? His shield is in his.
Yeah, his shield's in his left.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you took up the spear.
Gotcha. Dice -1. So that's going to be 5 to your 3.
5 to the 3. Oh, sorry. It only accepts 3, so
Okay.
I healed her other 2. I'm kidding, folks.
You automatically get my my auto heal. Boom.
There we
All
go.
right. So that's all my activations, and then I can. So the way I
And
did it, I
also-
was able to leave Syntherian on 2 focus because I was a little bit concerned with depending on where I land. I possibly could have feated, but so his feat is I can do melee and ranged attacks in the same activation, even if I
Nice.
charge, and even if I'm engaged. But there wasn't really a whole lot. This guy's got utility out of his gun. It's not so much damage.
Yep.
So hot shot doesn't really do a whole lot. All right, so that is it for my turn. So we're gonna switch over to that on the bottom of 4. So that was
Oh, yeah.
a big turn of Warjack's bashing stuff up.
Yep.
The man Syntherian getting in there too.
I'm not going to upkeep my spell.
Synergy only lasts for.
Upkeep.
It's an upkeep, but the bonus.
Turn.
Yes.
But you can get it.
With
on
melee
three
attack
strikes.
this turn. Right. So it resets now, but I can start gaining it if he gives me 3 strikes. Gotcha.
But you still got 1 bar.
Yes. So what I have done is I managed to punch through his battle group, but most importantly, so this is one of those points where if, for example, this galvanizer had been an inch over and this guy hadn't been able to get there, Maddox could have potentially, and if I was up a bit further, Maddox could have get a line on me, and with full stack of focus, she could have happily ripped me apart. So,
Yep.
so it's key, you know, even if you take out a bunch of stuff, it's very important to make sure that your caster is safe.
Exactly. Okay, so there's so much for me to do now.
Yes, kill me now. I'm leaving you.
Kill all three of the jacks.
Okay, so just want to double check that I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm actually going to use 2, and she's casting Dauntless Resolve.
Yep.
Target friendly faction warrior model unit gains +3 armor and tough.
Yep.
She's casting it on herself.
So Warcaster does count as a warrior model.
Yes. And oh yeah, I got a power up.
Plus 3 armor, right? Plus 3
Yes.
armor and tough. So tough means, guys, if I manage to get through all of her damage boxes and kill her, she gets to roll a d6, and on a 5 or 6, she's actually still alive. So it can be tough, can be pretty potent.
Yep. And she's swinging her Tempest sword. So her sword closed up, and from the gun form is doing back into a nice big sword,
double-handed.
and it's gonna try to slice through your jack.
This sounds like it's going to be painful. So mitigator is Def 12.
She is a mat 7.
So you need a 5. Boom,
Yep.
nailed it with an average 7.
Yep.
I am armor of 16. Your
Okay,
power
this is
strength is-
power strength 13.
Okay, so dice off of 3.
Dice off 3. Now, this is about where you get into the gray area between boosting or not, but because I've got so many attacks, I'm gonna go for sheer
Yep, makes
quantity
sense.
over quality.
Sounds good.
So dice -3.
Okay.
So we've got
4 to my 6.
yes, 4 to the 6.
2, 3, 4. Okay.
Okay.
He's got all of his systems are still up. He's got 5 left.
Okay. Buying an attack.
Okay. Def 12.
Yep.
Needing a 5. I'll
Hit.
do it with another average 7.
Yep. And let me just double check. Okay. Yeah, she does have a crit ability with your sword. So
Okay.
if we ever roll a
Crit
crit,
disruption, I believe. Yeah. All right.
actually
So
crit cortex damage automatically does one
Oh, nice.
damage to
Oh,
cortex.
cool.
So we're doing dice off 3
dice
again.
off 3. Yep.
Ooh, there we
That's a
go.
good one.
So 5, 6, 7, 8 to the 1.
That'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kaboom! That mitigator finally goes down.
Okay, and
Taking a beating.
she has quick work.
Mhm.
When this model destroys one or more enemy models with a melee attack during its combat action,
Yep.
immediately after that attack is resolved, this model can make one basic ranged attack.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm going to shoot your other one.
That makes sense. I'm a Def 12.
Okay.
Yes, it.
Now, Pat, what's the ability on your gun?
The ability on my gun is nothing.
It doesn't have crit disrupt.
Oh, yeah, let's see. Yes, it has a crit disrupt.
So, would you like to straight roll it, or are you
Oh no,
gonna
I'm
fish for
gonna
that
boost.
crit?
I'm gonna boost.
Just,
All
just
right.
stand still, so you don't get.
But you can't when you're
I
engaged.
can't.
Yeah.
Because I've already done combat, I can't sacrifice to aim. So.
Also, when you're engaged, you can't sack it.
Yeah, you're a little too busy dodging and weaving to be going. Okay, so we're boosted, so we're going for that crit.
Mm-hmm.
We're going fishing, folks.
What's your rat?
The rat is 6.
6. Okay, so you're looking for 6. Boom.
There, and the
And
crit.
you got the crit. I'll get my handy dandy. It's disruption, right?
Disruption.
Okay, he's disrupted. Boom.
No, that's the sword's ability. So, yeah,
Alright.
it is disruption.
And I am armor of 16. What is the POW of your
12.
So dice off 4.
Okay, and what the heck? I'm going to boost this too.
Okay, sounds
Because
good.
Maddox doesn't have a lot else she's doing. So we got dice off 4.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
So that'll do it.
Yep, so we have 5, 6, 7.
7.
7 points to the
to
2.
2. Okay. Now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My paint. My fresh paint. All
What are you
right.
talking about? We
Everything
don't put
is-
paint on your
Everything's
models.
still up. There's
Sorry.
actually paint on that one.
Well, there's free paint. So yeah, true. Okay, and you know what? I'm going to camp.
Okay. That makes sense.
Come and get me, Swiss Army boy.
I'm assuming she's immune to electricity.
Yes.
Okay, that would make sense. All right.
Considering she literally handles it, all day.
That's kind of what I figured. All right, so we'll go ahead and
Do you
switch
do your
the
thing?
turn.
Round 5.
This is the top of round 5.
So you got a turn, 2 turns to kill Jack. To tie it up.
Alright, so I will go ahead and roll my healing. So on my Warcaster is only down by 1, so I can't not heal that back. My Mitigator is dead, so my Galvanizer is going to heal back 3. I like that. 1, 2, 3. And my Cypher is hurt a little bit. He's going to heal back 2. Alright.
So question, if I lose, does that mean I'm a true Signar player?
Only if you're salty after.
Depends. Does assault count?
Alright, so he is way over there.
So after this I go straight to the salt mines.
So he moves over that way. I can potentially get that on you.
I would wait while he figures out quantum physics.
Alright, I'm going
So
to
he's trying to figure out basic.
upkeep my spells for free because of resourceful. He cannot do anything, so I'm going to give 1, give 2 to this gent. Alright, so we'll start with this. So I'm going to move my Cypher, is going to move his mighty 4 inches in this direction. He is going to pop a shot here. So what's your base defense?
15.
Yep, 15 is the
Okay,
base
so your
defense.
base defense, and Pat is behind the house, so you can see if I drew a line from any part of my model to any part of his, we're clipping the house, that's going to give him +4 defense, so that's cover. So you're going to be 19, so that's really hard to hit. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to boost to hit. This is going to go nowhere because he is disrupted. That's all on him. So I am a mighty rat of 5. Guys, I need to roll a 14 on this. And I'm going to choose to do the rough terrain template.
Okay.
Boom! Alright, now I have to actually math this out because that's
You missed.
so I'm a 5, I needed to roll 14, we said, right? So I'm
Yes,
off
you did.
by
So you're
1.
off by 1.
Nice. Alright, so now guys, I have to deviate. So I have shot at his caster, I have missed. This is an AoE attack.
What a deviant.
Yes. So what I have to do is I have to look at this template, and there's a line that says the origin of the attack. So I want to put the origin of the attack back toward my my jack, and I center it over top of the target. So I'm going to roll 1 dice. This is going to be the direction that the template's going to scatter. So it's going to go to direction 4, which is going to be back towards me. And it's going to go a total distance of 6, which I can only go half the distance. So it's going to go, I'm 6.5, so it can go like 3 1/4. So it's going to come 3 1/4 back toward me and land right there. So that is rough terrain. That lasts for a round. I'm going to buy 1 more attack and do the same thing. So I need to roll double 6s. So double 6s or triple 6s always hits, just like double 1s always misses. So going for a double 6s. Oh, almost.
Oh, halfway.
So I will miss, and I'm going to deviate to the 3, and I'm going to go 1 inch. So origin of the attack is back towards me. 3 is here, so I'm going to go 1 inch, which is going to put me just forward 1 inch of her base, which is good. That's kind of where I
So
want
am I
to
still in the AoE, so I still take some damage?
No, this actually I have to choose.
Okay, if you're rough terrain.
So I have 3 different attacks that I can do, and they don't do damage unless I choose the one that does damage. So, so that is good there. So rough terrain. Now I am going to move with Mr. Syntherium. Move out this way, and I have to get within 8. And die seems like a good plan.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it
approve
does.
of that plan. Anything that means you die. Actually, I scored something pretty sweet at Tactics. I got the metal version of him.
Oh, nice.
So
So I'm going to move this way. I'm moving in such a way that I'm not going to clip the house. So moving over there. I'm within 8 inches there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I am going to spend 3 to cast Magnetic Hold. Let me actually just, I might be cheating. It might state Warjack.
Yeah, it might.
Oh no, target model unit. Okay, so
Oh.
you spend the 3 for that, and I'm going to spend 1 to boost it. So
That's
these
one of
are
those ones
zero
where it
focus.
definitely is like doesn't make much sense to bluff-wise because like
Yeah.
especially for like trolls, what if we're naked?
Yes,
A lot of
yes,
us
that's true. That's true. All right, so I am a focus of 6. What is your base defense?
Base defense is 15.
15. So I am needing a 9 to hit you with this. That will hit you. So
Yep.
you are magnetic held. So you are -2 defense, and you cannot charge. Charging is the big one because I did not want to die. So -2 speed and defense, cannot charge or make slam or trample power attacks. Friendly faction construct models charging an effective model gain +2 movement. And she's immune to electricity, so
Yeah.
my gun does nothing. I'm pretty sure it is electrical typed, so it will do nothing anyway. So I am going to sit there. Boom. That is over to you, sir.
Okay. So I can't charge,
That is right.
and I'm
Minus
2
2
inches slower.
Yep.
Making shoot.
And you are in
Rough terrain.
the rough terrain. All the things.
Something tells me he was a little nervous there, folks. I mean,
You do have onslaught, so if I had missed that, oh, I forgot to activate him. So
go ahead.
he activates and he just goes dirtles to here because that's all I can do. So.
Yeah. Okay. So
You have to technically activate everything.
Yep. So let's see. So I'm speed 4 right now, which is essentially speed 2 because of your rough
I
terrain.
like it. That's the cipher is really good for putting out the utility of that rough terrain. Not so much when you have onslaught. But.
Okay, so I'm going to upkeep my 1 spell.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm keeping that armor.
Yes, the bonus is always good.
You really actually don't have to.
No, I don't have to. But I kind of want to.
What's the defensive armor on your caster there, Dave?
I'm a 13-18. 13-18.
I'm on 8. Okay, so 5.
So let's see. I'm up 2 inches to there.
Are you trying to get in range of swing at him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
Come back a bit.
there we go. Now everything's laying flat. So
You just do.
just out. Okay. Because she does have a 2-inch reach with that sword.
Yes, yes, that would have been bad. Probably a good thing he wasn't disrupted, or he was disrupted. Otherwise, I probably would have ran him over there. And he would have died.
Would have been a little choppy.
Yes.
What's the range on your shooty?
Range on the shooty always totally within. So let's see what the range on the sparky is. Ooh, range of the sparky works.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have electrical stuff, but sadly I am not immune to electricity, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what the heck? I'm gonna pay 3 for an electro blast at your caster.
Okay. I duck. I swerve. I
That is foul. Most foul.
Yes. Yes.
So you are defense.
I'm a defense of 13, and you did not move.
13. Nope, I am
So
not.
you're forfeiting your movement to aim, unless you're wanting to move something.
This, can you aim a spell?
Oh, sorry, this is
Yeah,
a
this
spell.
is
Oh,
my
sorry,
spell.
my bad. I think you're shooting.
No,
Yeah, I am def 13.
You can still do both.
I can still shoot you with that, but that comes later.
Gotcha.
So okay, so you're a 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need a 7.
Okay.
Yep.
That'll more than do it.
Okie dokie.
Pow on that bad boy. Or sorry, this is a spell you said.
Yep.
Okay.
Pow is 13.
Okay.
That's all.
Does it do anything specific to me, or is it just?
Well, unless I can disrupt you.
Yeah. That would be bad.
Okay.
All right. I'm armor 18.
Okay. So we have 13.
You boosting that sucker? Not boosting that sucker?
No, I'm not boosting.
Okay.
It's been a hard roll.
I saw 5. I said so 2.
Yep.
All right. Now what
Okay.
you do?
Now I'm gonna aim, and all of a sudden my big huge broadsword opens up, and
Yep, that's pretty sweet.
now I shoot at you.
Okay, sounds good. Attack again. On the 13, so your base rat is 6.
Yeah, base rat 6.
Signar's good at shooting, so you're going to go up to an 8. So you have
Yes.
8 versus my 13, so you need a 5. That'll do it. All right, and then no special ability or anything on it that can affect a warcaster?
Just on the storm strike, nope.
Okay,
But I am gonna boost the damage.
okay, sounds good.
And this is a POW 12.
All right, base on 6.
Ooh, so we take away the 6.
4.
4 more points.
Okay.
She's going down, fight, shooting lightning,
Yep, makes sense.
and I'm going to camp 1.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so we'll swing over to
Kill me now.
Billy now. I'll try. I don't know if I can get to you enough. 680.
Yeah, I think I'll try tonight.
Fair enough, man. Hey, that's the beauty of the slow grow league, is we have 3 weeks to get these games in.
Also, it's different when you're explaining everything so that people can kind of follow along if they're new. So
Yes, and a completely unrelated comment. He's getting warm in here.
it is. Really? Pretty good song.
Okay, that might not be
Someone
so
take
not
off
be
all
so
their
unrelated,
clothes.
but
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my healing first. So I'm gonna roll on Syntherian. He's gonna heal 2 back. Looks like I have to go from the top.
great. Now we gotta stand here and wait while
Too
he gives
bad.
himself a loot job.
And on the Galvanizer, he's gonna heal 1 back.
Well, he's gotta make sure the pistons are working
On the
right.
Cypher, he's gonna get 1 back as well.
Yeah, those bone swarms they're pretty nice models. I like them. As I say, they could have made them so much cooler by making like all the skeleton's hands and stuff come together to form like faces and teeth.
So guys, I'm just checking where I have to land to not clip the house. So I have to go back this way. So I cannot get you within my 1 inch.
Nope.
All right, so
See, folks, turns out solid objects to hide behind are really effective in games.
correct.
This is what I gotta do. I gotta
All right,
paint them. Here's the
so
Those should be cool.
I will upkeep all of my spells for free. We are going to allocate 2 here. So boost by boost. There we go. So I have to spend 1 to actually upkeep the magnetic hold because I have to spend it to upkeep it on you.
Yep.
You have a Dauntless Resolve still on you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm not giving up so easy.
So my Cypher is going to move.
She is a knight. She does not give in to knaves and the clockwork machines.
So I can move 4 inches. Move forward that away. Like such.
Put away the lightning stuff around her sword.
Yes, that's going to be nifty once it's all done.
Yep.
Alright, so that's there. I am going to boost a shot at you. This is going to be a flare shot. So I'm going to boost. This is going to go to this gentleman. Alright, so I am a rat 5 versus your base defense is 15.
Yep.
Your
plus the house.
-2 goes down to 13.
Yep.
Plus cover for the house takes you up to 17.
Yep.
So I am needing a 12. So that'll miss. This is
Yep.
going to scatter to the
Yep.
6. It's going to go
Second
4
verse, not the
inches.
first.
It can only go 1.5 inches. So to the 6 we said. So origin of attack, so 1.5 inches.
clips your jack.
Yeah, so it's still gonna clip. So to the 6. So it's just gonna go basically there. So you're gonna be flared. It's no damage, but you're a -2 defense. I'll just put that beside you now, so we know.
Yep.
He's going to
This
buy.
On the bright side, this has been a great opportunity to show how resilient casters can be.
Yes. And so buying an attack and boost the hit, I guess. This is going to be a. Yeah, I'll do rough terrain. So, same thing, needing a 12. Ooh, that'll just
No, you
miss.
10.
Need a 10? Oh, because you're -2 again, so you're
Yeah.
-4 total.
Because the flare.
Yes, so I will
So
hit
you
you.
hit?
Yep. So this is going to be rough terrain, centered on her.
Any damage? Because it's a hit.
There's no damage on
Okay.
it. If I want to do damage, it's POW 6, blast damage all around. So he's more of a utility piece.
Just double checking for the folks at home.
No, for sure. For sure. Some
You
theory.
13s. No, you need 14 to do point damage.
There you go. That's doable on 3 dice.
Syntherian is going to. And he can't hit you with his gun. So he is just going to dirtle back here like a hero man, be behind the forest. I guess he can even just run because
He doesn't like getting Sparky sparked.
this gentleman is going to charge you. So
Okay.
he's going to charge you. Now this is rough terrain, but I've got lots of movement to get there because I'm speed 5 and I get +3 for the charge. So he's going to go to here. Oops, and move you back a little bit. So I'm going to come out this way so you're not getting the house benefit.
Okay.
But the intention is I want to block your way there. So I spend 1 for the charge. I am a mat of 6, and you are -4 defense. So
Def
you are
11.
Def 11, so I need a 5. Boom. Nailed it.
Yep.
I will get the free boost. This is a POW 12.
Armor 19.
For what it's worth. I've got 1 there. Armor 19, so I am dice off of 7. Trip 1s, guys. Trip 1s. That's how you roll. I will.
I agree.
That was a hard
I will hit you.
Yep.
This is dice off of 12. I did not crit you. Dice off of 7, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Because I'm
Not
19.
hard per day.
I will boost.
I know, it's almost like, you wasn't playing a faction, it's all about mathematics.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
So 7 points of damage, unless you want to shrug it.
7 points.
Might as well.
I got no other attacks.
You got no other attacks?
So-
Okay,
So I've done 7 points of damage to Pat. He has spent a focus to boost his power shield and knock that down to 2. Yes,
Yeah,
2
2.
because I did 7. So that saves some of the damage. So that's all I can do. So we are over to Pat's turn.
And times like this is why it's good that they've limited the game to turn 7.
Yes.
Because I think at the rate we're going, this might turn into caster chasing caster.
Yeah, pretty much.
So bring back all my focus, which is really nice. Not worrying about my beasts. I paid the 1 to upkeep my spell, not just resolve, because
Armor is good. The flare does remain.
okay.
I do believe. Double check that.
But it disappears.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start hacking you to pieces again.
Oh no, sorry, it does not remain. It's just 1 turn.
Okay. So yeah, if I get a critical hit on your Jack, though, it suffers 1 damage point to its first available cortex.
I don't have a cortex.
You monster.
I have an induction node.
Okay, so
Reasons to
Matt
use.
7.
I am Def 12.
Okay. That's the
And
hit.
crit. Yep.
And it's a crit.
There you go. There you go. It's an I for induction node. So sadly, Convergence does not have cortex.
Okay. And it's a POW 12.
POW 12, so dice off 4.
Dice off 4. Oh, what the heck? I'm gonna boost this one.
Okay.
I want this to go a little quicker.
Sounds good.
Oh, that one's comp. So.
Oh, very nice. That's a 13 to my 6. That's a pretty good.
Well, yeah, because how much was it off? Because I'm a POW 13.
Oh, POW 13. I'm a 16. So
dice off 3. So you've got
14
14
to my
points
6.
to the 6.
That hurts. That hurts.
What does our call her? Chop shop.
Oh, yeah. Everything is still up.
Okay. I buy another time.
That hurt.
I kind of love the mental imagery because it's like every Jack that comes around the edge of this house into the back alley, just
Yep.
just all these parts getting.
Hey, what's over here?
That's a hit.
Okay.
And we're gonna boost this.
Okay. So dice off 3.
So that's so we take away the 3, so that's not off there.
Is it more than 5?
Yes.
Okay, so that kills me. Then reconstruct triggers and expires, and then I place him completely within 3 inches.
And quick work. I get to shoot him now.
No, oh, it's no, you have to remove him.
Oh, is it when you kill or when you hit?
When this model destroys one or more enemy models with a melee attack.
There you go.
And you now, according to your spell, you
let
see
me just
destroy.
Yeah, let me just read that. So this is one of the tricky kind of timing things, guys, that you sometimes have to check on because there's certain timings for when some things happen. So I'm going to just read reconstruct. So when target large base or smaller warjack in the spellcaster's battle group is disabled by an enemy attack.
Mm-hmm.
So then everything triggers. So destroyed is the last step.
Yeah.
So you've disabled me. I have not reached the destroy.
Okay, so that does not reach what is the actual activator for quick work.
Yeah, that's right. It won't trigger quick work. So,
Okay.
So he beams over there. Oh, and I have to heal him 1 point to each of his. I think each of his things is what it said. All right. You can carry on with your thing, Noe.
Oh, I'm done.
Okay.
That's literally all I can do.
Okay. Reconstruct.
And which means I'm camping 2. Which
1
means,
damage from each system. Okay.
so it's even harder to kill me now.
Yes.
But isn't this turn 7 now?
This is turn 7.
So.
Top of turn
Okay.
7.
So when you go. That means you get to kill 2 jacks.
Hey, if anyone could do it at this rate, I mean.
All right, so that's that.
To be fair, Maddox is being just chopping through his things.
So, yes, that's what she does. So this will go away. I will heal on Syntherium. 1. Let's go this way. On the Galvanizer, I will heal 3. On the Cypher.
What about the mitigator?
Yeah, he comes back to life. I heal 2, so he's back up to full.
Ironclad comes back in.
Okay, so I can't shoot you with anything. So I will spend 1 to upkeep the magnetic hold. Hotshot, I guess, is still on there. I don't know.
This
It's
is
not
just like
really...
a great anime night and like last stand moment.
So it's 5. Hotshot's not really doing anything this game.
Just for free.
So we're going to do. Hotshot really likes to be on something with a good gun. This guy's going to be getting boosted POW 6s, so I can put it on my caster, but then I lose synergy, which is bad. All right, so I'm going to
No, you need it anyways.
I'm going to put 3 on him, and I'm going to keep 2 on me. I am going to go ahead and start with the Galvanizer. He is going to charge your caster, so he's going to go. There's no point in me feeding. Doesn't do. Let me just double check that there's nothing else.
You surrender, Dave.
I surrender immediately.
You DeathClocked already.
Oh, you heard him, folks.
Yes. Yes.
You DeathClocked already.
Oh, nice. Okay. I can charge without spending focus, and I gain dual attack. So I will start with my caster, and I will feat, because that makes sense. My feat token is at home, apparently, so this will be my feat token. I have to make sure. So I am going to move him up there. All right. He's going to feat and just sit there. Now he's going to charge. So he's going to charge out this way for free.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buzzsaw you. So your defense is.
Okay, I saw you coming.
Yes. your defense -2 is a 13, right? So I'm a 6.
Yeah.
So I will boost to hit because I'm a 6. And you are, so I need 7. Yeah, I'll boost.
Did you measure that?
6 inches? Yeah, more than enough. Alright, there was a method of the madness. So to deck guys, I have to be within 6 inches, which gets a little hairy when it's melee jacks, because oftentimes you'll charge out of your reduction range. Okay, so boosting. I'm a 6 versus your 13, so I need a 7. I will get you.
Just barely.
Just barely, I'm glad I boosted. So this is going to be a POW 12
Okay,
versus
armor
your current
19.
armor of 19. Because of Dauntless Resolve, I don't need to roll calm. Armor 19, so dice off 7. So you'll be 1 point.
Okay.
I will buy an attack. I will hit you. No crit. I will boost the damage. Dice off 7. And my synergy is at 1 stack. So 2 points. Nice, nice. I like it.
Very consistent.
Yes. So put that there for 1. Now I am going to. Oops, that focus goes to him. So he is full. He is going to charge you. He's going to come out this way.
Well, congrats. I'm halfway down.
Nice.
I've got 8 more.
So he's going to charge this way to here.
Mm-hmm.
And go bloop. So you're not getting the house bonus. He's going to shoot his gun at you because I have dual attack now. So I'm going to do a flare attack, so you're -2. So I will hit you directly.
Mm-hmm.
Bloop. We're all flared.
Yep.
I will swing at you with my first hit. So you're a -4 defense, which puts you at an 11.
Yep.
And I am a max 7 because of my +1 synergy. I will hit you. This is POW 19.
Okay, so straight dice.
Straight dice. All right, so that is going to be 12.
12. Okay, we're going to get rid of 5 because you can only do that once.
That's right. So you're going to take
for
7.
damage. So yeah, we're going to go 5, 6, 7. Oh, no. 7.
Okay.
7.
7 is hard. Second initial. So I am a
Slider just kept one of your other 6 or 8.
7 versus your 11.
Okay.
I will hit you.
Yep.
This is going to be straight dice. So that's going to be 6 points.
Oh, and we're going to sacrifice
All right, so
that.
you're going to take 1 point.
Take 1 point, and I roll tough.
Oh, she's down that
She's
far,
on
right?
1 point.
Ah. Well, here comes the tough. Oh, it's not tough.
With tough,
Alright,
on a
this
5 or a
is like
6, my
slam.
character would have
Yeah.
regained 1 health and been alive.
All right, good game, Pat.
Good game, man.
So, I know I'm a little bit slower, guys, but hopefully you guys were able to learn something as we went, and probably learned some things not to do as well. So normally, when you're familiar with the rules and everything, and when your name is not DeathClock Dave, the game moves along pretty quickly. So
And when your dice actually do something better than
yeah,
just
there's a lot of ones in that game. So that was pretty glorious. So that's the Doomed Patrol is even more doomed for the forces of Signar. Luckily, the Convergence of Cyrus managed to claim the cottage. It's a very nice beachfront property, Seas Pond beachfront. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Again, I know it was a little bit long, but we'll do some more learning games so we can get some of our new crowd in, and we'll have some more recordings done as we move along. In this
And I'll start
series.
whipping Dave so he speeds up.
Yes, sounds good. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're enjoying the content we're creating, be sure to hit like on that video and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you're thinking of the content we're providing, and we will see you next time. I'm not quite sure what we'll be streaming next week, but I'll try my darndest to get at least one stream for each level that we're doing, so that you guys see, because some of the scenarios are funky and have cool special rules and stuff. So I want you guys to see those. So, all right.
Bye. Was anyone actually watching?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For a little bit. We had 4 people at one point. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.